This club is kind of the lighthouse of amateur sailing.
This event is the best sailing event I've done ever.
You know, this is the top Corinthian fleet in the world, and if you make mistakes, you're going to pay.
The Invitational Cup is special. It's a regatta that celebrates the Corinthian spirit. It celebrates amateur sailing at its finest.
The one design nature of the sails and the boats, it really sets a great stage for bringing it, narrowing it down to just the skill of the team versus the other team.
I would say this is the most prestigious event. Should be on your bucket list.
With 6 races complete and 3 days remaining, we have now reached the theoretical halfway point of the Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup 2025. Our defending champions of San Diego Yacht Club remain on top, but only by 5 points. And so for 20 teams, 13 nations, it's a new day. It's a moving day, and we've got a lot of cover at the racing coming up, so let's get moving. And before we do so, I want to thank our sponsor, our title sponsor, Rolex, who's been a club sponsor for 60 years at the beginning of this thing from day one. And also to our partners here at Safe Harbor and Peters and May, and our partners, Helly Hansen, bringing it to us. Boy, this has been a good one so far. And Andy, yesterday we were at the northernmost race course, and today the race committee moves it a little further south. So a new day, new race course, new play. What are your thoughts going into racing today?
Well, as you say, San Diego Yacht Club, the defending champions, but this time with a new helmsman, Jake Ladow, and his tactician, Adam Roberts, doing a really good job. They just had one slight slip up in the final race, an 8th, but at one point they were in 14th, 15th. So I'd call this a win for them on that final race, getting back up to an 8th position. But the following pack in the Royal Canadian Yacht Club and the Royal Thames, they had a third and a first. The Royal Thames winning the final race. Did a great job. Light winds, northerly. The weather forecast suggests that it's going to get out a little bit. The breeze is going to soften a little bit as the day goes on. Possibly we'll see a southwesterly sea breeze. But with the wind a bit lighter, this has got real opportunity for snakes and ladders. We've seen some much bigger score lines when the breeze gets lighter. And can San Diego hold on to it? It's going to be a fascinating day. We're here with you all day for live coverage here from beautiful Harbour Court, Newport, and the New York Yacht Club. Extremely clear in this northerly breeze, so great visibility, cloudless sky, blue and sunny. It's going to be lovely. Okay, it looks like we're getting news directly from the race committee after the exciting open that we're going to be under a short postponement. Okay, so while we do that, our team here editing feverishly all night last night to bring you this delightful highlight reel. Let's watch it.
We're out here to do the best we possibly can against the best teams in the world. It's so exciting being here. We absolutely love the Invitational Cup. That's why we keep coming back.
entire crew was looking around, what's the next pressure going to come, what's the next shift going to come. So that was very key. And then the team was also very good around the corner. So.
During the first race, we got fouled, and we didn't think much of it at the time. There was contact, and when we were going upwinds, I noticed that the starboard spreader didn't seem to be seated the way it used to be. There was a lot of uncertainty at the time. We were hoping that it was not a big deal, but then they had riggers show up here and look it over and decide that no, they weren't comfortable with using that boat anymore. It was a big task. We were really supported well by New York Yacht Club and their resources to get the boat ready, and the team put in a huge effort until just after the sunset last night to get as ready as we could. So I was really proud of everybody that once we got to the race course, we could put the sails up and try to see what we were sailing.
The fleet is very intense, and everyone has their own pride with the yacht club. So to get first place in this prestigious regatta is a big thing for us. We are very joyful.
Well, thank you. Icarus doing a great job there putting together the highlights reel. And as you can see, there has been an issue on the first day with the Royal Vancouver Yacht Club. Speaking to that, they got those races 2 and 3 on the first day as average points. So they are currently sitting in 4th place. And while we're here, maybe we can get our mate Konstantinos to put up the results sheet, and we can just go through those one by one, because now we're under AP. We may see those live pictures from out on the water, so hopefully only a short delay. The racecourse now just to the north of Gould Island, as opposed to up near Quonset, north of Jamestown. So it'll be a little different. An hour later in the ebb tide. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Live pictures right there. A little bit of saturation on the movie there. That looks like Vice Commodore Claire Harrington's boat there, Magic, just going through the racecourse. She's got a whole tranche of guests, including some people from the Japanese Sailing Federation. Jibs not up, AP in, lightish, 6 to 8 knots of breeze. We are joined by our on-the-water commentator, Alison Chenard. When she was up at Quonset, we were having a little trouble talking to her yesterday, but maybe today we're a little bit more lucky. Let's go down to the water. Alison, have you got something live and direct from us? Tell us what you see. Paint the picture of this beautiful beginning of fall autumnal day out on the water.
Good morning, Andy and Dave. It is a beautiful autumnal day out here. There's a little bit of chill in the air. We've got a calmer sea state than the last 2 days, which is it's shaking things up, and it's going to maybe shake up the scoreboard as well. We're really going to get the best of the best by the end of this regatta in a variety of conditions. But I rode out with the Royal Swedish Yacht Club this morning. That was my ride to the course. They did some practice tuning, lined up with Royal Canadian and San Diego and Royal Cork, and just did a lineup there with some different conditions. They're just kind of running their systems there. They have been pretty nervous about their tactics, they're taxed. So they have been trying to sail a clean and fast regatta because anytime that they need to do quick tacks back to back, it can be a little costly for them. But they're very good at their boat speed. So they feel strong in that department. So they threw in some quick tacks, and their goal today is just going to be to keep it straight and keep it fast. So they had some good practice this morning. San Diego looked like they were holding a very nice lane in this breeze. Royal Canadian as well. And the Swedes are looking forward to less waves. They don't get a whole lot of waves on the Baltic Sea, so this is more up their alley. But I think everyone out here is wishing for some better wind. Looks like it's going to be dying today. My reader has gotten as high as about 7 or 8 out here, and hence why we're under AP. But everyone's got their fingers crossed, and it'll be exciting either way.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for that, Alison. I've got a follow-up question for you. Did the Swedish team make you eat herring on the way in, on the way up to the racecourse today? One of their traditional foods for getting themselves motivated, give you a little pep in your step?
They did not. I asked them if there's anything they can't travel without, if there's a home food that they have to have on board, and there's nothing overwhelming. They did have 3 packs of Ghirardelli chocolate given to them by the race committee. It was not a bribe. I was reassured it was a trade. They gave them some Swedish candy, and it was a goodwill peace offering. So they have maybe enough chocolate to last them through the day. We'll see how it goes.
So as best you understand, the AP is for the breeze to settle down, or is it an AP because it's too light?
Too light. It's a little fluky out here. We're going to see if we can get some more steady conditions and get some fair racing in.
And just describe where you are on the race course. You're a little further south than yesterday.
Yes, of the 3, after today, if we get some races off here, we will have sailed all 3 courses. So we were offshore conditions on the first day. We weren't live for that broadcast if you're tuning in here. And then yesterday we were as far north as planned, and now we are right back in the middle, Goldilocks style, and we're going to see what this brings today. We'll get the whole range in this regatta.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we're looking at live pictures right now. It does look light. We haven't got any jibs up. Thanks very much to Alison Chenard for giving us all the info, and we've got some onboards today. The cameras are with the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. Oh, there we go, right there.
Right on cue.
I mean, as if we planned it. We've also got the New York Yacht Club, a live onboard camera there. Maybe we can get the boys in the back to just flick a button and we'll look on board New York Yacht Club and really show our skills here in the edit suite. So New York Yacht Club are bow number 6. We've got Royal Swedish Yacht Club, bow number 8. Royal Cork Yacht Club, bow 17. Here we go. Who's that? That looks like they look Swedish.
That possibly the Royal Cork Yacht Club.
No, that's Royal Swedish Yacht Club. There you go. I can tell by the
blondes,
and the beards. They're looking. That chap looks very Viking. Who's that guy? Let's look on our scratch on our score sheet. Well anyway, they're discussing.
Yeah, they're 6th on the rankings, sort of 7 points out, just on top of outside the top 5. And they've been, like I think a lot of these teams here, it's a good race, a little bit of a deep race. So it's got this up and down here in the middle of the fleet is what's compacting the middle group, but that group just keeps getting tighter and tighter.
Here's we go, Royal Cork. The editor's doing exactly as prescribed, just scrolling through our onboard cameras. There's the Royal Cork Yacht Club, the only visiting club that has competed in every single one of these invitationals. It is marked in granite in their calendar every 2 years. Wonderful to have the Royal Cork Yacht Club here, the oldest yacht club in the world, founded in 1720. And I've raced there a bunch. It is the most wonderful place to sail. In fact, I've done a few deliveries. I delivered a 12-metre across the Irish Sea to get to the Royal Cork Yacht Club. I can tell you, after a leaky 12-metre across the Irish Sea, the Murphys in at the yacht club, and I think there was a rum front came through when we arrived. Quite the place to have a few drinks.
With Royal Cork, they were out front in the last race, just nipped at the end there by the Royal Thames Yacht Club, who I know you're one of your team favorites, but man, they had a good day yesterday.
Yeah, Royal Cork Yacht Club have had a good day, as have, as you were talking about, the Royal Swedish Yacht Club. Good, consistent. After their first race of 11th, they've had a 2.5796, so they're doing very nicely indeed. And really, it's about just keeping away those bad scores. In 7th, New York Yacht Club, 8.96, 5.12, 7. So we are going to take a pause for a bit. Dave and I are going to just maybe get one of those delicious cappuccino lattes that they serve down in the tent here at Harbour Court, and keep tuned on YouTube and Facebook Live. We'll be bringing this action to you as soon as we get a little stable breeze. We'll give you plenty of warning, and check your socials. We'll be back to you as soon as we know more.
This event is the best sailing event I've done ever.
You know, this is the top Corinthian fleet in the world, and if you make mistakes, you're going to pay.
This club is kind of the lighthouse of amateur sailing.
2009 was the year that marked the beginning of what would become one of the premier sailing events worldwide for amateurs. While Corinthian sailors have remained at the forefront, the Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup has maintained its ultimate level of professionalism, and in 2023 the event celebrated its 8th edition. Based in Newport, Rhode Island, the New York Yacht Club boasts a legacy spanning 179 years and is widely regarded as one of the world's most prestigious yacht clubs. It serves as the venue where teams from yacht clubs around the world gather biannually for the esteemed Invitational Cup. For the 8th edition of this regatta, 19 teams from 14 different countries were ready to race. Experience is much needed in such a highly competitive fleet, and 17 of the teams were returning to the Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup, having raced here in the past. The returning teams included the two most recent winners, the Southern Yacht Club, who won in 2021, and the Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron, who took top honours in 2019. As teams and sailors return year after year, lasting friendships have formed, giving this regatta a distinctive camaraderie among the teams.
Yeah, so one of the things I'm excited about the Invitational Cup is that since 2009, we first held and I was involved, you meet teams from around the world and you see them every 2 years and they become friends. And so as much as it's important to be out there racing and competing, that they're really, it becomes almost a family that you get to know over the years. So it's evolved. So I've met, talking to some of the teams today that I've known since 09 and 11. I competed in 15 myself. It's just great seeing them together. They always comment how this is one of the best events that they attend each year. It was a Corinthian event.
Very excited. We've been pent up energy trying to come back and defend our wonderful win in 2019. So we're very happy to be here. But more importantly, the New York Yacht Club do the best regatta in the world of this state. This is just really special. So we're very happy to be here, very honoured that we've been invited to come back again, and really looking forward to competing against our old teams and some new teams that we haven't sailed against. So it's a very mixed emotion year.
This club is kind of the lighthouse of amateur sailing, and everything they do is really good, really good. The camaraderie and the friendships that we forge here in this type of event is yeah, we love it.
What's great about this kind of regatta is meeting people from all over the world. I really enjoy meeting friends. It means that whenever you happen to be in, for example, Australia or, I don't know, Argentina, you call up your friends that you met in New York that one time. So it is a great opportunity to network, and because we sail, I mean, we go all over the world all the time, so it's always nice to have friendly faces around the world.
The solidarity within the fleet is genuine, and ashore the sailors are eager to connect with like-minded people from around the world. However, once out on the water, they're all competing for a trophy that this year was brand new.
After working with the artist and kind of going back and forth with the committee on different approaches that we could have taken with this trophy, Wendy was really inspired by the iconic architecture at New York Yacht Club. And what she ultimately ended up doing was finding a way to incorporate our 3 historic clubhouses into this trophy. So there are a few elements that are really stand out. We have this wonderful punch bowl. It's a really unique shape. It's sort of evocative of maybe a clamshell or even a vessel.
I feel that it's the wonderful faith that the yacht club had, and they didn't want something that was spun. They didn't want something that was CAD generated. They wanted something that would sing their song for them. And I was on board with that. I got it. They had a chance they had other people's work to look at. It was maybe more flashy and easier to understand, but they chose me, and that inspires me.
On a day when Rhode Island Sound served up some very shifty conditions, it was time for the teams to hit the water for the opening races of the regatta. The crew from Yacht Club Argentino secured an impressive lead after recording scores of 2-1-2. Day 1 was for the unsung teams, as Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron and Royal Swedish Yacht Club followed the leaders on the day, with all of them setting themselves apart from the pack by picking the shifts that led to clear sailing lanes.
Very happy to finish the day in second. I think we finished 12th at the last Invitational, and we only got 1 podium finish in any race last time, so to get one on the first day, we're happy, and good consistency with a fourth and a third. Want to improve to try and catch the, which team's leading? The Argentinians. They're so fast, so I want to try and catch them tomorrow. So make some small improvements and yeah, come back firing tomorrow.
We had a really good day, but tomorrow is another day where it could be completely different. We spent a bit more time trying to get the boat faster, and we're pretty fast today. So yeah, I think we learned some lessons about trimming the boat. We pay a lot of attention to what the guys at North Ace told us. Yeah, I think it worked. We were very fast today.
The Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup has consistently offered more than just racing, with its accompanying social activities serving as the perfect complement. The inaugural day of competition culminated in the Defenders' Night, where the reigning champions from the Southern Yacht Club took charge of the decor, music and menu selection, featuring some of New Orleans' most iconic dishes.
Food in New Orleans is very important to us. You know, it's how we get together and do things and you know, relax during the course of the day. So it's very nice that we're invited up here to a harbor court, that we're able to bring the beignets, something else that you know we really enjoy doing. The Café du Monde was established in 1862, and all we serve at the Café du Monde are square French donuts called beignets, which are served covered with powdered sugar, and we serve also a very special coffee and chicory that we serve as Café au lait, which is coffee and hot milk. The beignet is a New Orleans tradition. It's something that everybody who comes to New Orleans, they seek out. And the Café du Monde is located at one corner of Jackson Square, which is a very easy place to approach. We're open 24 hours a day. So we get all walks of life all day long. And I'm sure that, you know, if you've ever been to New Orleans or you planning a trip to New Orleans, your friends will tell you, you need to go to Cafe du Monde.
Returning to action on the second day, the underdogs continued to give the more established teams a run for their money in the Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup. It was now Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club's turn in the limelight as the crew won the only race of the day. A midday frontal passage and accompanying lightning storm cut short the second day. Despite their forgetful race, with them finishing in 17th place, Yacht Club Argentino maintained their overall lead by 3 points over the Royal Swedish Yacht Club.
The waters are sailing outside the Newport is they're really cool. You know, a little bit choppy sea state today, but that makes for exciting sailing. You know, you just need to dial up the boat and go fast, really. I believe we're going to go further in a couple of days, so that'll be nice to try the other race areas, and hopefully it'll do well there as well. We know from experience at this regatta that you just need to keep on doing what you're doing, get good results. If you're further down the fleet, just try and you know, keep at it, get past every boat you can. Usually it's a pretty high score regatta for the winners, so if we just keep on doing what we're doing, we can get a good result. But you know, we're not thinking about any top result just yet. We're just going to keep on at it.
This is part of the game. This is exactly what sailing is all about, especially in a fleet, on a one design fleet. You know, the time between the first and the last, sometimes gets so close. Leading on this case, but sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. This is what it's all about, and this is why we love this sport, especially because yesterday we're the winners, today we're losers. It's beautiful.
I don't want to speculate in any results. I think we try and take it race by race, mark by mark. The competition is so tough here that anything can really happen, and I think there are 19 teams on the starting line and still 19 teams in the contention for the win. So we'll see how we go.
What makes the fleet so even and the results so unpredictable is the fact that all of the teams sail in identical boats. The 2023 event was the third edition sailed in the IC37, designed by Mark Mills. The strict one design nature of this purpose-built class, combined with the fact that each boat is owned and maintained by the New York Yacht Club, ensures a level playing field not seen at any other amateur big boat sailing regatta.
So this is the second time I've sailed the IC37s here. They're amazing boats. They're so even, and the New York Yacht Club have done such a great job making sure every boat's identical, exactly the same. I mean, coming back 4 years later, and the boats are in the exact same condition. They look brand new, so that's pretty cool.
We really enjoy sailing the IC37s. I think they're a great platform for this type of sailing because they're all the same. They're not overly difficult to understand. To sail them really well is tough, and the competition is so tough that you have to execute everything perfectly, but they're easy enough, and I love sailing one design yachts.
Oh, we love these boats. I mean, they're unbelievable. Like what New York has done to create this one design concept, evenly matched, club-owned boats. It's just amazing. You know, we feel really lucky to be here sailing these boats.
The one design concept has long been part of sailing, and it makes racing even and fair with the skills that matter. In 2023, the Howarth 17s, the iconic racing keelboats of Howarth Yacht Club, celebrated their 125th anniversary. This class, the world's oldest active one-design racing keelboat, added an historical dimension to this year's Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup, making it even more special.
It's a fantastic honour to receive any invite from New York Yacht Club to come over and participate, but especially this event. You know, we're really delighted to see that the invite came in again. And you know, when we were putting the team together and we were doing the selection trials, and it was just fantastic that I was able to be part of the team that was selected. We've had a half model made to mark the anniversary of, or the quincentennial anniversary of the Haute 17, as well as our participation in this year's Invitational Cup. So we just wanted to present and mark the occasion. The boat's design is similar to that of the America's Cup designs from the turn of the 20th century, so the likes of Reliance and Shamrock. So we just felt there was a really strong connection there. The boat itself is the oldest one-design keelboat racing class in the world that is still actively racing, and they'll do 70 events every season, and they've been doing that since pretty much the very beginning.
Howarth Yacht Club was one of the teams that brought together sailors from different ages, and it was heartwarming to witness individuals from a diverse range of backgrounds and with different experiences coming together to collaborate towards a shared objective.
Being the youngest person here, it's pretty cool. Like, I just get to see loads of really experienced people. Loads of people are just really good. Loads of amateur sailors that could easily be professional. I think the regatta itself is really it.
Δεν σου έρχεται κάτι, είσαι 0 εδώ. Μόνοι, πού? Εδώ είναι τα βιβλίο σου, είναι άδειο. Οκ, εντάξει. Εδώ μπορείς να αλλάξεις απευθείας. Δεν την πάρεις, ωραίος.
With Hurricane Lee projected to pass, the regatta was shortened and 2 races would decide everything on the final day.
Well, we feel like we're stuck in 5th, which has turned out to be a good thing. You know, we're just sailing really conservatively, trying to not make a lot of big mistakes. And in doing so, we're taking a lot less risks, which maybe doesn't put us in the top 2 or 3. But we're fast, and so we're able to kind of stay in that 4 to 6 range, and you know, that wins regattas. No, it's great being here. Obviously, the goal is very clear. You know, we came here for one reason, really, but no, we're happy to be back. It's a great event. The sailing's awesome, super close, obviously. New York Yacht Club does a fantastic job. We're about to go eat lobster, which is great, so couldn't ask for more.
I mean, a tough day, but we had 3 good starts today, so life at the front of the fleet is a lot easier. I mean, those races that we were in the middle of the fleet, it's just no lanes, no choices, and so we felt like we were at least kind of playing the game at the front of the fleet and got some of the choices right and some wrong, and that's sailboat racing. So I think like all these people I've sailed with, like at a ton of team racing events and Morgans and
So good wisdom there from Tim Wadlow. That was from 2 years ago, and I'm sure he's probably thinking the same thing today as they try to chip their way into the San Diego lead.
Right, difficult for them, but it looks like the breeze has settled down. We've got the AP down, and they're suggesting it is in sequence right now. So are we going to have a look at the current results? Up on the board, we've got San Diego Yacht Club leading with 20 points, Royal Canadian Yacht Club with 25, Royal Thames with 35, Royal Vancouver Yacht Club with 37.5, Royal Hong Kong with 38, Royal Swedish Yacht Club with 40, and then after that, New York Yacht Club 47, and the Royal Cork Yacht Club with 49 with 1 minute and 54 seconds. The boat's now in that traditional pre-start situation. We'll go down to the water and get Alison Chenard to give us her perspective from down on the water. Just give us a quick summary. Looks like we're ready to race, Alison.
We are ready to race indeed. The breeze is down, and we've got a little parade of nations going on. They're making their rounds to leeward of the line, and we've got some punching up here, getting dialed in, getting their plans to go. and we are counting down. It's going to be a good race day.
Excellent. Thank you very much. 1 minute 10 to start. Great to have viewers from all around the world on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook Live. We've got Dominica, who's heavily punching for the Royal Swedish Yacht Club. We've got onboard pictures today from the Royal Hong Kong, New York Yacht Club, Royal Swedish Yacht Club, and the Royal Cork Yacht Club as well, with 48 seconds to go. The course
is going to be a W4. We've seen this a lot. Windward leeward, a very common one. At the 1.3 nautical miles, just a point shorter than yesterday, and so that's pretty much nicely left of north, right?
Just right of north.
Right of north, right. I'll get my numbers right eventually.
That's okay. Here we go. 25 seconds. The tide is slack. 11:06 high water. One boat just on the windward end looks quite punched, but we've got here bow number 18 and on board with Royal Swedish Yacht Club here as they come. That's bow number 18, Eastern Yacht Club looking to get the pin. Oh, very, very tight on the start. We're going to get the Velocitech data. Someone clearly over right there. We will give you the exactos, but a very nice start from Eastern Yacht Club down at the pin. Just to windward of them is the Royal Irish Yacht Club, number 10, Houth. So a bunch of boats over the line. Look at that. Number of boats, OCS. So we've got Royal Cork.
Japan Sailing Federation.
You can see the boats that were closest to the line. Royal Prince Alfred, Royal Vancouver, Yacht Club Punta del Este, New York Yacht Club and Royal Canadian. Yacht Club Costa Smeralda going the fastest by some margin. Corinthian Yacht Club, Royal Hong Kong, Punta del Este and Prince Alfred Yacht Club. And these conditions very tricky here because it's so light. Dirty air, bad wind is really, really telling, and as we can see right there, Royal Irish Yacht Club having to tack away from that dirty air. So probably slack tide. There might just be the start of the ebb on the edges of the race course, but up the middle, pretty much slack tide.
Now Eastern Yacht Club at the pin, we noticed they were, Billy Lynn, their tactician, ran into him last night at the tent and hugely frustrated with their first day offshore, some terrible results, and he raised his hand on those, and they were definitely looking forward to today being light and weird. They said today is going to be a Marblehead day, and this was going to be their kind of day. So, a little clean air, off they go.
Yeah. Very good. We've got Michael Stephenson says, go the Royal Canadian Yacht Club.
And this racetrack, and what we call halfway rock, there's a little submerged rock just probably up somewhere up near the weather mark. This tends to be a little bit more, I think, the preferred race course up in the bay. A little less, fewer islands in play than there was yesterday. Slack tide, what you've sailed up in here a bit. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely well, heads out the boat, and we can see that with the Eastern Yacht Club. There's Billy Lynn, like a meerkat looking out over the side of the boat, and good weight management there by the crew, just putting their shoulders in on the light stuff and then poking them out just as the breeze hits, and they've got to just lean the boat out. There's Billy moving forwards a little bit there. Oh, great picture. Look at that. Lovely. So Corinthian Yacht Club there on starboard. We've got 19, the Royal Thames on port. Not their best start from the Royal Thames as Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club tack in front of them. They're going to have to do a little bit of a duck right there, or else they're going to have to tack onto starboard. Royal Cork Yacht Club not so good at all either. And on the track, which we're also following, it's got Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club going out to the right-hand side, looking very handy indeed, along with San Diego Yacht Club. Jake Ladow doing a great job with his tactician, Adam Roberts, David Dempsey, Matt Hutchison, Nick Martin, and the IC-37 Whisperer, Rick Merriman, on the main sheet.
Yeah, there was a lot of teams last night just commenting how quick they are, and that quickness has got them out of trouble a couple times yesterday. And You know, a little bit of analysis after racing. It's kind of fun to go back to these tracks, and it is quite amazing how San Diego can sail these races pretty surgically. On average, 4 tacks, 2 jibes per race, bar a couple where they had to do some clearing tacks, but it's amazing. There's not a lot of boat handling in this thing, and in fact, there's probably more lane management, clear air setting up, so that they're fast.
Yeah, I suspect that there's a little bit of a tidal advantage on the right-hand side of the race course. Certainly from the track, it looks like all the boats heading towards the right are just getting a little bump up. And the Royal Thames, they're getting beaten down here. This is not good for the Royal Thames, getting pinged from pillar to post as they try to get out towards the right-hand side, but not good for the Royal Thames at all.
Yeah, imagine earlier when you were saying Billy was looking meerkatting, he was seeing the entire fleet flip over to port and perhaps a little bit pinned on that left side, so he may be stuck.
Yeah, and certainly it looks like the right-hand side doing very nicely. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club are keeping all that way to the right, and now it may be that that's just an initial right-hand. It was a lefty, and now a right-hand shift. A lot of the boats tacking onto starboard.
A lot of weight movement, right? This is the subtleness of sailing these boats.
That's great.
Keeping it smooth.
Yeah, great pictures there. Really good. I'm trying to figure that out. Is that Eastern again? No, that's not Billy. That's not Bill then, is it? Who is this? Yeah, the right-hand side looking very good indeed. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club keeping their marriage on that right-hand side, going all the way.
Yeah, this is it seems to be a much wider racetrack than we had yesterday, where they were squeezed up between Prudence and this Hope Island, and this is definitely looking for space.
So we've got the track in front of us. We've got all of our viewers on YouTube. Nice to see you all on Facebook Live. Let us know where you're watching from. Rob Emery from the Royal Canadian Yacht Club in Toronto. I've played lawn bowls with him at that beautiful club overlooking the Toronto skyline. We've got Paddy Barnwell. I can't guess where Paddy's from. Well, he's supporting Hoth.
Out front there, the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. I think, boy, they were probably. I mean, when at the end of the day, you look at, they're having probably one of the best Invitational Cups of all their participations here. And aside from a 20th yesterday, which they got to just be killing themselves. Holy smokes, 3, 4, 4, 3, and a 4th to end the day, and here they're out front. So this is their year. On board Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. All right, so this part of the bay is not an easy place to sail, but I know there's one guy that can figure it out. Is Moose McClintock, multiple-time world champion, America Cup sailor, and fleet coach. And we've snuck him into the studio here. Welcome, Moose. You're looking at these pictures here on the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. They sail on this boat fast?
Yeah, having watched a lot of the racing and dealing with all the boats a lot in the last 5 years, there's certain techniques that are consistent about what makes boat go well and what makes boat go slow. And right now they're in a situation where they're not totally powered up. Everybody's on the rail, but it's a lot of it deals with coordinating the main trim with the runner and talking to the skipper. We call it the speed loop, and just making sure that they're communicating to keep the boat going as fast as they can.
So this fleet coaching concept with the IC37s here at New York Yacht Club, really it's a knowledge sharing across a wide group of teams and people, and so you've had a chance to sort of really see inside these teams as they come to it, they're new to it, and they try to figure this boat out. What has it been like, the progression to get them into a new boat and get them up to the speed of San Diego, who knows this boat very well?
Well, I'm not sure they're up to the speed of San Diego yet, but the one of the things that we talk about the boats all the time is the boats are very easy to sail, but they're really hard to sail really well. and that's consistent across the board. A lot of people come, they want to tune up, and they just go out and sail around by themselves, and we're going great upwind. And I say, hey, who are you sailing against? There's nobody there. So one of the biggest things about the boat, they're very technique oriented, and Corinthian in particular, not for this cup but the last one, they came for a month and just went out by themselves and did boat handling nonstop, and it was impeccable. And from there, then they could start working on the finer points of tuning and trim. That's the whole thing. And my role is I'm just basically an asset to everybody to sort of tap into. But what is really good is you can spread the information pretty quick, and I don't think that was so much before I started doing it. I'm not exactly sure how they were dealing with trying to bring new teams in. But what we found is that we can get teams up to being pretty competitive very quickly. Like I think in the Nationals a couple of weeks ago, I think there were 22 boats or something, and 16 of them had a top 5 finish.
Wow.
So, that's the whole thing, is you may not be winning, but you've got potential to be on the podium. And we can get them there fast, and then they can start fine-tuning. And that's been sort of my goal and what I'm here for.
Fantastic. Andy, we're getting to the top of the course here. Things are compressing. What do you see?
Well, I'm on the track here as well as looking at the live pictures. We're looking at Corinthian Yacht Club and Tim Wadlow, the tactician. And he is just trying to pick his way up through the fleet. It looks like the right-hand side has had a pretty substantial advantage. And even though now the breeze is just going a little bit into the left, I wonder if there was still a little bit of inflow of tide, the last of the inbound tide. And when the tide changes, there's quite a big gradient between if you've got a tiny bit of inbound tide and the start of the ebb. So that can actually create quite a bit of gradient during the tide changes. Moose, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, in fact, I've been talking to a couple of the teams, and we were talking about that specifically and how it was going to change during the course of the race. And looking at the channels out there, the right side of the course has a main channel that goes up to Providence, and there's another channel on the left that goes to Quonset. And depending on where the starting line was going to be, if you went right early, you would ride that up for quite a ways. But as you get closer to the mark, it should go back to the left as you get closer to Connecticut. And I think that sort of looks like what's panning out.
Yeah, certainly the clue is if you've got the track open as well as watching the live broadcast, there's actually also a big left-hand shift, but the left-hand shift seems to actually be on the right-hand side of the racecourse, but it looks to me like there's still a tidal advantage on that right-hand side. There's still some inflow, whereas some of the other places getting a little ebb. And I think maybe banging the right-hand side is looking good. And Itchner Sailing Club, the little club that could, seem to be banging the right-hand side and doing a nice job of it. Here we're on board with the Royal Cork Yacht Club. Ben Field looking up over his shoulder, looking out to where the next breeze is coming from.
Well, it's great to see Itchner up there. We haven't seen much, if any of them, all in the front of the group. And as we say, everybody's going to have their day. And they may have their moment here, right? At least they're in the front group. Paul Ward skippering this team to the front of the fleet is great.
Yeah, you can't just be famous for International 14s, for team racing, and for amazing tea and cakes on the lawn at Itchner. Got to also be famous for a little bit of IC37 race wins, and we'll see how they go. But they're definitely up there. They're definitely doing well, so good for them. The left-hand side, where we saw Eastern Yacht Clubs doing a wonderful start at the pin, just collapsed completely, and now they're desperately trying to get in from the left. And this is the Royal Canadian Yacht Club doing the same thing. They're trying to get back, and it just looks light on port. Looks like there's a little more breeze on the right there, Moose, as we're looking at pictures of Royal Canadian Yacht Club.
Yeah, it's interesting. They are very soft, and one of the things about boat setup we always talk about is they have the adjustable mast step, which you can change between races and where you should be set up and everything. And there's a slew of different iterations you can do depending on the size of the bricks that you're put under the mast. And the whole thing that I always tell them is, if you got anybody in the boat, you should be as powered up and all the way down so you get as much sag in the headstay as you can. You power up as much as you can. And these guys are probably about that point. And that's where you can actually see huge speed differences if you don't have the brick set up correctly for the pressure that you're dealing with.
This one of the common themes I've heard of is just the teams just not being able to hold a lane, right? And all of a sudden now you're stuck in the middle, lots of tacks. And we're seeing here, this is a pretty thin lane here for our friends on Royal Prince Alfred. But waving them across. What is the key to this sort of sailing these boats in this thin boat?
Well, the biggest thing is you really can't live in a lane. The boats, what people tend to do is, and you can see it right now in this picture, how high the Traveler is. And the sails are actually a lot deeper than you would think. And when you go really high on the Traveler, the bottom part of the main, rather than being driving, it actually turns into a kind of an air brake. Mm-hmm. So, the biggest thing you do is make the sail as full as you can and try to sail at the same angle and get the boat going. And if you want to try to bite, you pull a trab up for a minute and just take a bite until you start to see your speed crash, and then you go back to the same mode. You lose a little bit fore and aft, but you can live off them. If you try to just pinch, you're going to go sideways. You end up into the guy anyhow, so it's not worth it. Mm. I tell people, if somebody does it closely, about just tack, get out of there.
All right, get to the top here. This is gonna get busy.
Talk us about the weight here. What's going on the cruise as they move from side to side?
Well, the boats sail very much like a dinghy in the lighter stuff. You've got to move around quite a bit. One of the things I tell everybody is that in light air you can't get far enough forward, and heavy air you can't get far enough back. And so being able to use your weight to help turn the boat and flatten out, power up out of the tack is critical. And it's the biggest thing is just making sure that you don't get down speed. Once you're down speed, you go sideways.
All right, well, we're at the top here. We've got to be able to get to Allison Chenard out on the water watching the pile-up happen here. Allison, bring it.
Yeah, we've got single file around the top marks here with Itchener. Yes, the little club that could. It is so good to see them up here. Behind them is Royal Vancouver, who we noted had a tough first day, so we love seeing some wins for these guys. And then Royal Hong Kong right behind them, and they had a very interesting start. They kept it clean, they kept it fair, not right on the line at go, and they threw in that tack and committed to the right side, and it is really paying off here. They've got the youngest tactician, not only of this regatta, but ever. That's Duncan on board there, Duncan Gregor. And tactics are so important today. You've got to have confident calls and minimize those maneuvers, and it seems to really pay off for them. Behind Royal Hong Kong is Eastern Yacht Club. Then we've got Royal Swedish. They like this flat water, closer to the Baltic Sea, but everyone wants more wind right now, I think. And Yacht Club Italiano coming in behind them. How are things looking on your end, guys?
I don't know. Where's San Diego in this mix?
San Diego, not where they want to be. They are being covered by Punta del Este coming around the offset mark, and actually they've got a thick wall of boats blocking their wind. But if anyone can figure out a way out, it is San Diego, so we'll see what kind of magic they can make on this next downwind leg.
Fantastic.
Okay, we've got a view from our 3D viewer with the Itchener Sailing Club leading, Royal Vancouver Yacht Club in second, Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. Well, they dug themselves out of a hole because they weren't looking good up that first beat, and then they went right and further right, and in fact you couldn't go far. You couldn't really go far enough right because Itchener carried on going, and that really worked out for them. I'm expecting that the boats are continuing here on starboard as a reverse, trying to get out of the tide that was the advantage on the upwind, Moose.
Yeah, actually, it's now 11:20 or so. The current, it's basically low tide is right now, and so you're going to be seeing a tide change over the next half hour or so.
High tide, it's ebbing now.
Yeah. So, and as it starts to ebb, what you should also see is that the breeze should come with it from the north as the water temperature over the water starts moving south, so it could pick up for a little bit. But the biggest thing right now is just getting out and getting the boats moving, because the maneuvers, every maneuver costs you a length. So the guys that have to do something like a jibe set or something like that are trying to reduce one move down the pike. But there's a lot more maneuvering to do going down for sure.
And the jibe set doesn't work when the leech is stuck up on that jib batting up top, does it? Yeah, that looked like the Argentinians having a tough one.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we do when we do our practice days is there's 4 sets and there's 4 round-ins, and tell everybody to do 2 sets of every one of those. So they have stuff like that, and you have a situation like that with the batten stuck. That's a crew mistake.
Itchnor holding it. Fantastic. And Royal Vancouver Yacht Club, just a real quick background on that story. I mean, they had the incident on the first day, as we covered in the highlights. But the true story of that is, it was about a 15-hour press to get them into a new boat overnight, strip it, get to their marks, whip marks on the sheets and everything, just to get the boat back to how they want to sail it. So it was an amazing effort for them to get back into it for the next day. And now they're carrying forward redress points. But beyond that, they're putting in top 5 results, and they're just creeping their way north into the top 3. It's cool.
Yeah, very good for them. Well done. We've got Itchnor Sailing Club currently leading. Now, they've got the same syndicate boss in Barry Sampson, a well-known and colourful character around the New York Yacht Club, and a member of Itchnor Sailing Club, back again for their 7th time. Their best result was an 8th. That was back in 2017. But they've got a new helmsman and a new tactician, Paul Ward, the helmsman, and Roger Yeoman of International 14 fame. Roger has won pretty much everything there is to win in the International 14 fleet, of which Itchnor is famous for. But Paul Ward is an extremely accomplished helmsman himself, 2019 J70 World Champion. He was second in 2001 at the J70 Europeans, and he's won the Bacardi Cup twice in the J70. So J70 is really his thing. Should be very relatively similar J70, the IC37s, but looking light as they're coming downwind. We got a picture of Yacht Club Argentina, and that looks like the Royal Thames on the left-hand side, and a flurry of Irish boats there. The tricolor Irish flag there on the spinnakers. New York Yacht Club just behind them, as it looks like Royal Thames going for a jibe.
Yeah, up there in that top 5 group, the Royal Swedish Yacht Club, which, Moose, I understand you've spent a fair bit of time with in this coaching program. What has their progression been like in this class?
Well, it's interesting. Those guys have, I think, the only IC37 in Europe, so they've been sailing it around, and so they've got time in the boat, but they don't have time sailing this other IC37. So you're not sailing blind, but you don't really know if you're progressing down the road. So I spent a couple hours with them right after they first got here, talking about different things to look at. And a very eager team. The helmsman is, I can't remember her name right now, but she is a J70 sailor, sailed FXs.
Yeah, and Soderling, yeah.
And she's very sharp. They had really good questions about particulars that they thought that they might have to deal with. And they've been sort of right there the whole time. They had, I talked to them at the end of every day, and they're confident in how they're going, and they're about 7th. They were going to the last race yesterday. They were like 3-way or 4-way tie for 4th, and they're just a couple points out. So I think they're going well.
They must be happy where they're at this moment.
Jan Soderberg, one of the 2 female helms, along with Hannah Sweat. Great to have everyone watching.
And fun fact there, on the Royal Swedish team there, tactician Tomas. Nope, we just picked up speed. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm going to...
Yeah, go. Keep going.
Their tactician Tomas is Finnish. and he's from an island that speaks more Swedish than a higher percentage of people that speak Swedish than the entire country of Sweden. So he's having a good time out here.
The things you learn on your way out to the race course, right?
Very good. Okay, we are on board with Jan Soderberg. She's the helmswoman of the Swedish Dreams, Johanna, and 2024 J70 Women on Water Tactician she won. And has got a great dinghy sailing background as a helmsperson. They're doing very nicely indeed. And Itchner still leading. And if they can carry on this will be the first race that they've won since race number 12, 2015, where they won the final race of the 2015 event. Sailing downwind here, looking at Aquidneck Island there. That's the naval station Newport, directly in front, where which was the home of the torpedo program for the American Navy for many, many years. Certainly light. What do we got out there, Moose? Six or 7 knots of breeze?
Maybe. And when you're that light, I mean, it makes a huge difference. Just one little bit more breeze, and you're going twice as fast. And when you've got everybody, you can see that they are, all standing up. In these conditions, you see the boat to weather has everybody sitting down and very calm boat. This boat has everybody standing up, so the boat's less stable, which you don't want this kind of condition. I'm kind of psyched to see the Eastern Yacht Club there in second. I've been also dealing with those guys. Bill Lynn's a good friend of mine, and they had some problems after the first day, and we talked on after the first day, and they had a good day yesterday, and it looks like it's carrying through today.
Yeah, like I said, he was looking forward to a Marblehead kind of day, and he got it, and so there he is.
Very good. I just want to confirm that is Johanna Sommerlund, who is the helmswoman on the Royal Swedish Yacht Club boat. She's doing a great job of steering the boat downwind as they all eke their way towards the bottom mark. Itchner just a nudge ahead of Eastern Yacht Club. Royal Vancouver Yacht Club doing very well as also, and well, San Diego Yacht Club doing okay in 7th. They're ahead of some of their competitors, but we've got Royal Hong Kong ahead of them, and Royal Canadian Yacht Club ahead of them also. San Diego in 8th, and their major competition of the Royal Thames. And Royal Vancouver are ahead of them, so this could tighten it up a bit. Royal Vancouver Yacht Club ahead of San Diego, as are the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club, so that'll just tighten it up a little bit. Nice pictures of Royal Vancouver Yacht Club. So you try and get the crew forward in the light downwind, Moose.
Yeah, really, really far forward. You can see that the back end of the boat is really beamy, and it really drags. You can actually hear the back end of the boat dragging. And so basically in a condition like this, I'd have probably 2 people in front of the stanchion that's abreast of the mast, and just getting the back end out, it makes a huge difference. A lot less drag. So they're working. They got the weight for it for sure. And but I'd have even fewer people in the cockpit right now. They got 5 people. That's too much for this condition. I mean, definitely, you look at it, it's getting very light. It's getting down into it looks like the 4 to 8 range or 4 to 6.
Mm.
So I suspect tomorrow, if we have the same breeze, we may see a body or 2 less in the cockpit on board Royal Vancouver.
I hope so.
They're listening.
Itchner going quite well there, 7.3. They got a puff, that's for sure. Look at that, a knot of different boat speed. That's what you were talking about. Makes a big difference. It's a tiny bit more breeze.
Yeah, it's if you can get just a touch more breeze, your apparent picks up dramatically, and then you start scooting pretty quick. Watching the all the regattas that I do, We had one regatta where it was about like this going downwind, and a puff came in about 5 or 6 knots more, and the boat behind, while everybody else was in this position, the other guy was planing. So they, the boats, they accelerate really quickly and make it a lot better. So this is a good example of the way forward and to leeward.
There we go. We're on board with the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. You can see their orchid flower on the back of their shirts.
Hunting down Ichnor. If we look at the tracker here, Moose, I mean, where Ichnor is set up you get this sense of when the wind is coming down the course, it's got to go over this giant pack of boats at sort of the middle to the back of the fleet. Where they're set up currently is it just a little bit in front of that wind block of the boats coming downwind?
Yeah, I think because your apparent is a lot further forward. If you keep your apparent wind in front of everybody, you're generally okay. And it's just a matter of looking up at the masthead and see exactly where you're at. For sure there's a lot of disturbance, but for the most part that's going behind these guys. So they're set up okay. Yeah. Ideally, you don't want 15 boats sitting on top of you, but sometimes that happens.
You are where you are. Yeah.
Now, Moose, just talk us through the bottom mark roundings. As they get towards the bottom, you just got to try and keep as much speed on as possible. Does that restrict which mark you end up choosing? What are they thinking? What's going through the tactician's mind? They're planning for the next upwind.
Well, for sure, they're, as we saw, that first beat was pretty tricky. And, trying to pick a side right now is good. But you do want to come in with speed. The guy that does the last-minute maneuver, last-minute jibe, something like that, where the boat can't accelerate, can park it up pretty fast. And I think everybody sort of has that organized. A lot of times people will go to the wrong mark just to keep the boat moving and be able to pop out. You're also looking a lot at the traffic and the bad air from the traffic that all the trailing boats are leaving. And staying away from that, you can extend so far, so fast. And it's going to make a big difference here. This is where you see the biggest separation is at the gates. And
you can we may be able to they can hear the horns cranking away from the mark boat there. There's been a change of course, Charlie flag flying, and they've shortened the course and shift the course aspects to straight up north 000. So a shorter leg coming up here 1.1, and it started the day at 010. Going left. What do they do?
You're asking me.
So I guess the real question is, Moose, when you see the gains big time on the right-hand side, as we just watch let's just watch Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club go around this mark. Now, this is a challenging situation because they're getting their spinnaker down. It looks like they're going to jibe around this left-hand mark, and they're doing that. There's clearer air, so they're going to take the hit on the 180-degree turn for clearer air.
Yeah, but as you can see, there's not a lot of traffic to where they're going. A little bit of bad air from the 12 there that they're going to go through, and but that is they're giving up a certain amount in speed to have clear air, and in these boats, clear air is gold.
I think as they exit out here, should we check in with Allison down the water?
Go.
Oh, what's up? we've got a couple boats around. Yeah, I'm nervous about that left side because the right was paying off, but I also trust Royal Hong Kong, so we'll see how this pans out. We zipped around to the front of the fleet here. We hung out with the back as they were coming around the windward mark, and we have Corinthians coming down, and I want to give a shout out to all of their fans that are watching from all over the place. Their campaign leading up to this was titled the 10th crew member. They've got 9 crew on board, and the 10th is in honor of all the people back home supporting them. And they've been getting texts all week, photos of the broadcast. So there's a ton of Corinthian supporters cheering them on. Hope for a better day today for them, so that they have something to cheers to today.
Very good. San Diego Yacht Club choosing that left-hand side. My question for you, Alison, when you look up the race course, what are you seeing? Better breeze on the left or better breeze on the right?
It is from down here. It it looks a little left, and it looks like some of the folks that went right are changing their mind and punching back left a little bit. They might be seeing the same thing. No overwhelming difference between them. I can't say one that would make me sprint over to one side. It's a little even, but it looks like people are trending toward the left now.
Yeah, this is one of those days, one of those races where you just start to get puckered in the middle. You're just, it's so frustrating because sometimes there's no way to get out of where you are.
Yeah, basically, the people I talk to, I say, look, one side or the other is going to win, but being in the middle very seldom wins in this. So you can't, the boat won't sail well, and you see it on the first beat in particular. The middle part of the fleet is generally really going slow, and you can't find lanes. If you don't have lanes to be able to just put the bow down, you're going to have an issue. Here's the Swedes. They have a nice option, nice open lane, so they sail the boat full speed and just kind of truck along. Anytime you can get a minute or two of just sailing straight, it's a boat length or two.
Some great stats.
Yeah, these are leg 2, so this is the downwind leg. This gives us some good stats on who was fastest, who looks like Royal Canadian Yacht Club had a pretty good downwind leg. They're 14 minutes 50 seconds, so they were 21 seconds quicker than Itchner. All sailed around the same distance. Eastern were just a little less distance, but just yeah, they were good too. Yeah, just a little slower in sailing that slightly less distance. So this is the data on VMG. Moose, talk to us about what that is.
Now, VMG is how fast you're actually getting down the course. Is your velocity made good? And depending on what your pressure is, you can sail more directly. If you're lighter, you can't quite sail. You have to sail higher angles. So Eastern, as I said, I had a long talk with Bill about angles downwind, and I think they've taken it to heart. Is that once you get the boat going, you're watching your speedo all the time, and as soon as you see you're starting to crash, you gotta address it immediately. A lot of it deals with if you happen to have a puffer a little bit, and that can change your overall look for those numbers downwind pretty dramatically. It's I wouldn't say anybody had anything glaringly great or bad in that whole thing. But what you see is the boats that are kind of poked out a little bit always have better VMG numbers because they're not having to sail extra distance trying to defend or attack.
The Itchner stretching away with a little bit. This is the beauty of being out front, right? And
that's right. You're
can see
first into the
shifts.
new breeze. You're, basically you're not controlled by anybody, so you can sail in the shifts as you want. You've got open lanes. It's the rich get richer scheme.
A little bit more breeze, just pumping in across the race course right now. San Diego Yacht Club on the left here with Yacht Club Punta del Este. So they've taken a little bit of a flyer towards the left-hand side. The question is the clear air, and is it going to fill in a little from the left? As the breeze has gone 5 degrees to the left, that actually gives them a slightly straighter a straighter line up towards the northern end of Jamestown and Quonset. We're on board now with the Royal Cork Yacht Club.
Stressful times for San Diego, but I'm sure they know that there's still more days to come, and you just gotta prevent any bleeding, keep it safe.
Right. I mean, I think in these conditions, Moose, top 6, top 7. If you're leading the regatta by 5 or 6 points, you just got to keep it hanging in there when you're not up at the front. Big regatta tactics as well.
Yeah, a lot of times we talk about spending your lead and knowing when to spend it and when not to. And, when you're leading the regatta as they are and they're sort of mid-fleet, it's like, okay, we're not going to try to win this race. We're going to make sure that we don't lose a whole lot either. So you get a little bit more conservative in this, and you're just like, okay, we're just going to pick off boats one at a time. I know that when I sail a lot of time and I get in that situation, I pick a boat in front of me and say, okay, that's the boat I'm going to pass. And work hard on just passing that one boat. And then you're like, okay, and within working with that, I got another boat as well. So it's, And these guys, they're smart. They're not going to go and just shoot a corner trying to win. They're going to stay attached to the fleet, and as they get up, you might see things get a little bit, they might do something different as they get closer and closer to the pack. But keep the boat going fast. That's the biggest thing. Just keep the boat going fast, and good things will happen.
And hope you don't get tacked on.
Yeah, that too.
So, Moose, I can't ever imagine there are boats ahead of you out on the race course, but nonetheless, we've got a question here from Martin K. He says, just talk to us a little about the backstay, or I guess these are runners they have.
Yeah, the runner, I tell the guys on the runner, they're the gas pedal on the boat. And as we talk about the speed loop, the skipper has to be, all three of you should always be invested in just staring at the speedo and seeing how you're going. The guy on the runner, if you feel you need more power, he's got all the power. He can burn it off, get the main fuller, and the skipper's talking about how much load he's got on the helm. If you want to accelerate, the main sheet has to be eased. That's the other thing I tell everyone all the time. If you're going slow, ease everything. The boat will pick up, and then you can start tightening things up and convert that into height. But it's really important in these boats in particular, because the sails, since they're AP sails that are supposed to go from 0 to 25, the sails have to be round enough to cover the bottom end and still be able to flatten them out. So in light air, the sails are quite deep. It's a lot of drag. So there's a lot of finesse on the runner to try and get the sails flat as you can without depowering it too much.
AP, that means
all purpose.
All purpose. So they go up and down all ranges. And what does that mean for some of the speed tuning elements, the halyards, the outhaul, things like that?
Well, for sure, the one thing is, like, you look at the jib right now and how round it is down low. So you've got that adjustment. If it starts getting windier and the sail's too round, you start backwinding into the main. You go up on the clew. That opens up the upper part of the sail, makes the bottom part flatter, so you can sheet harder without doing too much disturbance on the main. The main, you've got the outhaul and everything, but with the runner in particular, what you're trying to do is not go too firm, because that makes the head stay tight and the jib flatter, and it makes the main flatter. So in this condition, you see that the runner, particularly when there's people on the boat, the runner is usually not a whole lot more than just 1 or 2 turns on the handle once you get going. And then as you feel like you've got speed and it's like, okay, that's good, you can go tick more. The flatter your sails are, the harder you can sheet and the higher you point. You start getting slow, like I said, when you go slow, you ease everything.
Well, this is a fun tactical play that's happening up in these top 3 boats here, where we're going through that. You can see Ichnor just crossing the Royal Hong Kong. Here they set up. Eastern got right of them. They've sort of leading Eastern back, so playing both boats, trying to lead the race. It's kind of the fun part of the game, huh?
Well, particularly in this, in a dying northerly, the thing that's really interesting is that the breeze will get softer and softer, and the shifts will get bigger and bigger, and the angles will change more and more. So you've got to be, trying to control somebody is always good, but it's really important not to get out of your comfort zone as far as sailing the shifts right, because this is a matter of connecting dots from puff to puff to puff, and that's almost the most important thing.
Good. Well, I hope all you folks who are listening on YouTube, Facebook Live, enjoying this broadcast are taking notes. There's going to be a test later. Moose's top tips for perfect sail trim, tactics, and how to get around the course. I mean, you've basically won this regatta already, Moose.
Yeah, it was easy.
Okay, Itchenor Sailing Club still leading. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club and Eastern, they're the top 3 at the moment. Royal Vancouver, Royal Canadian, Japan Sailing Federation, Royal Swedish Yacht Club, all now on starboard, heading towards the top mark. At the moment, San Diego, well, they were up in 7th at one point, 6th, and now they're just slipping back to 8th or 9th. They're a little slow on that left-hand side, just did not work out very well for them at all. We've got in shot right now is Yacht Club Italiano, just to windward of them, is Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, and then Yacht Club Argentino. So we've got a very Latin feel about this little lineup right here.
Well, one thing that, the San Diego might be seeing, as I said, when you're in the middle, you can take advantage of shifts if you can get them, but you're also in a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
So your lanes start getting smaller, and it doesn't take a whole lot to start sending you in the wrong direction. And you have little, the breeze, I would bet right now is going back and forth about 5 or 10 degrees. And if you're in a pack, and you're just ahead of that, that's good. You're just behind it, it can be bad if you're on the wrong side of the shift. So you can see, occasionally large jumps and large losses that are temporary.
And also sliding back in the fleet are the Royal Canadian Yacht Club, which was up there in that top group, and well, they're starting to pile in some points.
Well, they had to double tack and get out of the bad air of those 4, 5, 6 boats who are now stacking up on the starboard ley line. So as Moose was talking about, when it gets lighter, the shifts get bigger, and you have to do 2 tacks is very costly in this breeze.
Brutal. The boats tacking in light air is 2 lengths, and the boats, they don't accelerate well. You've got to have people move back in the boat for the tack, so you sink the transom back in again, and you just kind of, the boat is dragging like crazy. So, and the fewer maneuvers you can do in this kind of condition, the gains are exponential.
Yeah, and a great example there of Yacht Club Italiano coming out of the tack. They just look a bit bottom heavy right there, and slow to accelerate, and then they got tacked on by Yacht Club Argentino, so that is not nice for them at all. We go Johanna Sommerlund. She's driving Royal Swedish Yacht Club. We're on board with them right now. Their best result, the last event they did, 2023, they were 6th.
Well, this is a long path to the top of the fleet for all these teams, right? That don't have the experience of sailing here full time in Newport and playing with this fleet. And
bit more breeze right up at the top there. Itchner look like they've got a good run in going into that top mark. A nice lead for Itchner Sailing Club's music to my ears. I've been a member there since for nigh on 36 years now, so it is wonderful to see Itchner Sailing Club doing so well. Very tight in on the ley line here. We got Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club just squeezing it up. Don't want to hit the mark bot. I hope the mark bot doesn't give a quick bit of propulsion just to get themselves resettled.
Yeah, the reset, that's terrible when that thing comes firing back at you.
Right. I wonder if there's anything in the software that sort of stops them doing too much of that. Anyway,
I watched a Melges 24 regatta where somebody caught one on their spinnaker sheet on the set and took off with it, and the whole fleet bore off chasing it. They got unhooked. The thing took off to weather. They didn't catch it.
Eastern Yacht Club in 3rd, and then just behind them looks like the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club as they come down towards the final leg in this light. There's San Diego. See, just ducking underneath. I can't see who that is coming on a very thin ley line there on the boat that they just ducked, so we could well see a little bit of drama here. Who is that they just ducked? I can't quite see the bow number, but coming in at the top here, bow number 16 is the Royal Canadian Yacht Club.
I think on the boat that's coming in to leeward that is to the right of the mark, you can see how they're going sideways on the shore. The tide's definitely, I think the current's changed now and is counter, which might be another reason why the other boats were so close coming into the weather mark.
Okay, well, let's go down on the water and listen to Alison. It looked like San Diego ducking under somebody on a very thin lay. What's the story down there?
Yeah, it is so important to call these ley lines correctly because you really don't want that double tack at the end. So Itchner correctly called it. They had a little lift coming around that windward mark, and dare I say they inched it out. So they called it nicely, and then Hong Kong had to throw in 2 tacks, but they were good tacks, and they kept their speed up. So they're still fighting in that top 3 up there. Not unique to the other races. We've got a small pack pulling ahead, battling it out at the front there. Those 4 boats. I'd say Royal Canadian is the other Canadian. Who is that up there?
Royal Vancouver.
Ahead of Royal Canadian. Royal Vancouver. Thank you. that pack is battling it out down in front, and then we've got a little bit of a gap here, and the rest of the team coming down. But the advantage comes to the folks in the back who get the puffs first, and there's a little bit of movement. I'm feeling some puffs up here, so if somebody gets lucky, they could take it down with them and deliver the win to the rest of the fleet.
Yeah, so some boats starting to jibe away relatively early, it looks like. That's Itchner, the leaders on screen right now, continued on starboard. Probably the right thing to do. Alison, we got the fleet splitting a little on the downwind.
Yeah, and we were feeling some pressure increases on this last upwind leg. We saw some crews to leeward as we were starting that last upwind right before this, and then the crews started moving up and balancing it out a little bit. They're looking for that keel angle of like 16 to 18 degrees where that boat is happiest. So I think people are feeling those pressure increases coming from the right, and they're going to seek it out themselves. They're also doing some delayed main jibes as they make their way over to the side of the course, because that main will block the kite from filling. So they're trying to hold it out, briefly go wing on wing for just a second, let that kite fill, and then bring the main over so they have maximum flow in their sails. So everyone's making their way to the course right, but punching out to the left from our perspective here.
Very good. Thank you for the update, Alison. And as we can see on the track, the leaders, Itchner, have jibed onto port. We just had them going through the jibe. What were your thoughts about that jibe on the leaders, Itchner?
It was actually very clean. Alison mentioned the late main jibes, and in this condition, it's critical to get the kite around it full, because one of the biggest problems you see right there, he's trying to jibe the top batten. And what happens is if you jibe the main too soon and the kite over trimmed it all as you're trying to pull it around, top batten won't jibe. It's got air coming off the upper leach that is blown into the back of the main. So it's a very important. You'll see as you do this that there will be someone holding the boom at the vang, holding it for as long as they can, so that when the main comes across, the kite's already full and being eased. The main can come across and you can give it a quick stop 3/4 of the way through, and that'll pop the top batten. If that top batten stays inverted, it is just a pain because the top of the sail is completely depowered.
And then you got a lot of chaos in the back of the bus there, people trying to pop it out.
Yeah, I mean, the way to get it is you got to pull the Cunningham on really hard, you got to pull the Vang on really hard, and then you have two guys pushing on the boom as fast as they can, trying to get the thing to pop, and it's really disruptive.
Slow.
Well, this is the opportunity for Royal Vancouver and Royal Canadian Yacht Club to take a few points on San Diego. San Diego look like they are okay in 8th right now, but they're still going to give away a couple of points to Royal Canadian and Royal Vancouver. Royal Thames not having their best day. 12th, it looks like they're always a bit up and down. They have moments of glory, and then they can't quite dig themselves out of those low teen positions on the Royal Thames. That may be their Achilles heel this week.
Well, like I said, you get back there, the lanes are small. It's hard to come back.
Right.
So speaking of comeback, I mean, the Eastern and Royal Vancouver, Royal Hong Kong, they were some of the early jibes out of this first leg, but they've centered up more in the middle. They're probably going to have one more jibe. Itchner closer to lay, you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's the risk for Itchner, is that they carried on quite a long way to the left. If there's any kind of right-hand air, they're pretty much on lay line. And the risk here is, well, look at that. We just got the distance to the mark right there. Eastern Yacht Club are just very close now because Eastern jibed sooner. And if there's any right-hand air, or more importantly, an increase in pressure, Eastern will get it first, and that's going to make it hard for Itchner to get down to the bottom mark.
We saw a bit of this happening yesterday, the compression at the bottom into the finish.
I think they still look okay there, Moose, right?
Yeah, I think so, because what you're not taking into account is that Eastern's got to do another jibe. Right. They'll lose 2 or 3 lengths in that, and that'll be an extension for Itchner. So it's, and, as you say, it doesn't take a whole lot of a shift or pressure or anything else to make huge differences when you have that much leverage. But I said Eastern still has one more maneuver minimum that they've got to do to kind of get to Itchner. And Itchner, just angle-wise, looks pretty nice.
Yeah. And it may be that Royal Hong Kong got the jump here on Eastern as well. Too early to say, but they look, at least on the track, to be a little better positioned.
Right. Yeah, this is going to be actually very close between Eastern Yacht Club and Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. We're going to carry on here watching this great racing. It's amazing. It can be quite so exciting with quite such a light breeze. But yeah, it'll be 10 years since Itchner Sailing Club won a race here at the Invitational. This would be quite the feather in their cap. Good old Itchner. Can they keep it going? It's they're about 2/3 of the way down this final run. Maybe a little more. Maybe more like 3/4 as Itchner coming towards. Okay, here we go. This is the upwind leg stats. Talk us through this, Moose.
Well, Itchner, it shows when you're in front, you got clear air, you go well, and then they sail a little bit less distance maybe, and that would be they've got the ability of they're not having to go a little bit further than they want to go to get into a lane. Their speed is I think that is the speed over ground is good. They're open. It shows Royal Hong Kong there was going well.
Yeah.
On that beat, but being a little bit behind, you got to sail a little bit more distance, which they did, not a lot more, but it in the long run, like I said, the rich get richer, and you get out in front, you got control of where you want to go. It's a lot easier to be the first guy to hit that shift and be able to attack in it and not have to extend it all. And that's what adds to your distance.
Love those stats. That's great. That is something for us to get our knife and fork out and start chewing on. That looks really good. Okay, Royal Hong Kong now on port. It looks like a little breeze coming in on that left-hand side, because coming into shot, that is Itchner. Royal Hong Kong going just a fraction faster than Itchner as they come down towards the finishing line. It's not far to the finish now. Can Itchner hold on? But it looks like Royal Vancouver and Eastern. Oh, there's the gate mark that they're just coming by. So pretty close here towards the finish, and I think Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club have got to jibe, so...
And I imagine they're going to, do they stick one on Eastern to hold them, or do you let you just carry across and hold?
Nerves will be on board.
It comes down to your lane going back. Yeah. And, they don't, it's a question of they think that they can keep going and be able to attack Itchner, or do they, maintain and defend? I think, personally, I'm super conservative on the water, and I'd be defending more than trying to attack, particularly in unstable conditions.
Itchner look like they got a nice bit of breeze just to take them down towards the finishing line.
This would be great for them. This reminds me of the Japan Sailing Federation yesterday. Man, they were stoked with that win, and this is the whole thing of I think at this event, it's not necessarily about winning the whole thing, but sometimes winning a race is a milestone for a lot of these teams.
Look, you take your wins whenever you can get them, and moments of glory should always be celebrated. Itchner Sailing Club with their first win in 10 years as they cross the finishing line. Nice job, Itchner Sailing Club. Paul Ward, the helmsman, really getting into his stride now. He won the J70 World Championship, so he's no slouch. And just behind them, here coming into the finish, is Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club and Eastern.
Ooh, who's going to get it?
I think that may be Royal Hong Kong. Just snuck it, did they? Eastern got it. Eastern got it by a hair. And Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club in third. And then coming down is Royal Vancouver Yacht Club. And really, it's a question of all the boats coming in from the right-hand side, whether San Diego can pick up on Japan Sailing Federation. I think they've probably got Yacht Club Argentino. But this will just nudge the scoring up a little bit. Here's the Royal Canadian Yacht Club. Coming down towards the finish. Bow 16, yeah. That's Royal Canadian. Very good from Toronto. Beautiful club there. We've got lots of people watching from the Royal Canadian, and then we've got Royal Swedish Yacht Club. And it looks like San Diego are going to take it over the Japan Sailing Federation. So a good comeback there for San Diego Yacht Club to take a 7th. So that's just reducing the number of points on Royal Vancouver and the Royal Canadian to only a couple of points deficit. The Swedish come across the line, and then it's San Diego with that yellow spinnaker. That denotes that they were leaders leaving the dock this morning. Nice job. I think that's pretty good to get back to 7th, to rescue their race there, Moose.
Yeah, I mean, that's, as we're saying, that's the goal, is, don't try to hit a home run, just keep hitting singles, and you get on base and score. And I know those guys. I know Rick Merriman very well, and the experience, and they've got excellent coaching from Ed Adams, who, multiple world champion and Sailor of the Year, and he does a great job with them. He's been working with them for the last couple of these, and also with Southern, who won a couple years ago. So it's they've got a good package together. They put a lot of time into it. It's funny. I talked to one of the kids, and they were sailing in the Safe Harbor Regatta, and they were going too well, but they had these old sails, and he's like, God, what's going to happen when we sail? I said, everybody's going to have the same sails. You guys will be just fine. And it was a big deal for those guys to understand that.
Yeah, well, that's a big deal of this thing, right? Equal boats, equal rigs, equal sails. It's all about the boat handling and the crew chemistry.
It is. That's the coolest thing about this fleet, is there's no other one design class that there's many boats in this size that can go out there and be this well matched. And it's one of the things that makes it really fun to coach, because everybody, exactly what they have to do, and seeing them being able to tell them, this is exactly what you got to do. They don't always listen to me, but I'm just a voice.
Well, my final question for you is, Moose, just talk us about Rick Merriman. You know him very well. How important is he to the San Diego Yacht Club?
He's really important. He sailed with Drew Freitas for a long time on the Pacific Yankee, and they were winning the season series a lot right when I first started coaching the fleet. Rick's an excellent star sailor, and star sailors are incredible main trimmers because they're dealing with these huge sails. I think they've got a great feel for what the shapes have to be. He has, he's been doing this a lot. He's a great sailor in his own right, and I think he does a great job of communicating. So the communication loop between the runner, the main sheet, and the driver that's a winning formula all the time.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Moose, for your wonderful insights. We're just going to look at the overall standings there. The Royal Canadian Yacht Club have just nudged 2 points closer to San Diego Yacht Club. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club got a good result there with a 3rd. But you can see the last 3 races, Royal Canadian have got 13, and San Diego have got 17. So that is 5 points nudging back to San Diego. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club, nice result for them. Boy, they'll be kicking themselves about that 20th, weren't they? I saw Ambush Drew made a post yesterday, and he was like, oh, my word. Because they are having a cracking regatta. Royal Vancouver, very nice in a 4th. And Royal Swedish Yacht Club doing a nice job. 6th. Royal Thames, not such a good result as also New York Yacht Club, 12, 13, and Corinthian in 10th. Royal Cork in 14th. So that sort of chasing pack dropping a few points away there. Anyway, great to have light air. Fantastic race. Light air still seems to be exciting somehow, and we're bringing you this coverage from Harbour Court here in Newport, Rhode Island. Well, thank you very much. Wonderful to see you all watching on YouTube, on Facebook Live. Excellent to have our guest, the legend that is Moose McClintock, the class coach and the general all-around expert of the IC37s. Real super insight, and I hope you're all taking notes for next time you come here and sail the IC37s. You'll have Moose right behind you like the government, checking on you every tack and jibe. Thanks very much to Moose, and we're going to go off for a moment while we get the course reshaped. We hope the breeze stays good. We'll be back to you with an update very shortly.
Every other September since 2009, the best amateur sailors gather at the stately New York Yacht Club Harbour Court in Newport, Rhode Island, for the Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup. Over 7 editions, this Corinthian event has attracted teams representing 48 of the world's most prestigious yacht clubs, from 21 countries on all 6 inhabited continents. Founded in 1844, the New York Yacht Club's history parallels the growth of sailing as a recreational sport in America. Its first event was a cruise from New York to Newport. Its first race was held in 1845 with 9 yachts and was called a Trial of Speed. The following year, it became the annual Regatta, which has been run 166 times since, and is the oldest regular sailing competition in North America. Now in its 7th edition, the Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational has become one of sailing's premier Corinthian events, featuring top-notch racing, superb organization, and unparalleled onshore hospitality.
Well, this is such a spectacular event. You know, the Invitational Cup now is, this is our 7th running. 7th biannual event, so we're 14 years into this, and we couldn't be more pleased with the way that the competitors have come to the club, you know, year after year. We've had several clubs that have been in the Invitational Cup for many years, and we always welcome the new clubs where this might be their first event. But the Invitational Cup is special. It's a regatta that celebrates the Corinthian spirit, that celebrates amateur sailing at its finest. Enjoy this week. Enjoy the Corinthian spirit that is the cornerstone of this event. 60 years.
Competing in this prestigious event is a rare privilege, a fact not lost on each and every competitor. For this fortnight, the stately Harbour Court Clubhouse, overlooking Newport Harbour, serves as a temple to Corinthian yachting.
It's actually a pretty special invitation to be invited to come sail on this event. Yeah, we've tried over the past couple of years to try to come and qualify to sail on it, and we've come just short, but to actually be sailing in the Invitational is something very special to us. I've sailed in many big events. I've done a lot of world championships over the course of my sailing career. And the Invitational Cup with all top amateurs is just something really special, and you know, vying for it to get here is very difficult, especially in the United States. And yeah, we're really looking forward to a great week.
I would say this is the most prestigious event for many reasons. I mean, the yacht club alone is this mystic place. It's like if you were, you know, religious and you were going to your, you know, temple where your religion started. It's almost a feeling like that. I know that in England and France have their places as well, but for the U.S., I think this is it. The New York Yacht Club is the place to go. I would say to all the sailors, if you're really interested in the sport and the history of the sport, should be on your bucket list.
While this regatta prides itself on the high standard of organisation and competition, it's always worth a reminder that the participants are Corinthian sailors, taking time away from work and family to compete. The collective passion for the sport is omnipresent.
I got to tell you, I'm going to personally say my favorite part about this event, all amateur. You know, we're going to all these G70 regattas and everything else, and there's pros all over the place, and we love the pros in our sport, and they're good for the sport, and they help us. But it's so great to just be sailing against other people that this isn't how they make their living. This is how they want to have fun and be connected to the water and be connected to their clubs. So for us, you know, everybody on our boat is that, right? Like full-on, full-blown amateurs. We've got a couple of people that were America's Cup bowmen, you know, 15 years ago. And they're really good sailors, maybe 25 years ago. But really good sailors, but we're all, you know, we have jobs and kids and lives, and it was just such a fun thing to be able to be part of, and I'm you know, just really honored to be here, to be really honest.
After the first 5 editions were sailed in the Swan 42 class, the 2021 event was the second one to utilize the IC37, commissioned by the club and designed by Mark Mills. The strict one-design nature of this purpose-built class, including identical sails and onboard equipment, combined with the fact that each boat is owned and maintained by the New York Yacht Club, ensures a level playing field not seen in any other amateur big boat sailing competition.
You know, you don't hear it at all. The boats are so evenly matched, and we've really paid attention to make sure the fact that we can own the boats gives us the controls that we need to keep them level. There's no better place to be in one design sailing when you know all the boats are level, and there's not one boat ahead of another. And that's what the Invitational Cup, that's what the IC37 is about, and we're proud to be able to maintain that level competitiveness in the boats.
It's not surprising that participants have warmly welcomed this style of racing, as it gives each team a chance to shine based on their true sailing skills.
We like the boat. We've done a little bit of practice. We did a pre-regatta back in July, I believe, not with the crew, but just the helmsman and myself, just to kind of get acclimated with it and to go with it. We mostly race one design boats anyway. So we're kind of used to the one design theory, which we love because everything's equal, and you know, it's just a matter of the skill on the water that's going to get you around, and you know, the least mistakes around those turning marks is going to be critical to success in this regatta.
The one design nature of the sails and the boats, I think it really sets a great stage for bringing it, you know, narrowing it down to just the skill of the team versus the other team, and taking all the other variables out of it. So yeah, I think it's a great boat, and here in the conditions in Newport, it's so much fun to sail.
For the first time since the inaugural event in 2009, the fleet for the Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup hit the starting line without a defending champion, shaking up the form guide as teams and sailing fans look toward the start of sailing's premier Corinthian big boat competition. The absence of the defending champions from the Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron, along with a trio of clubs that sailed in each previous edition, has created opportunity to new and old international entrants and a handful of US yacht clubs loaded with top amateur talent.
So we're incredibly excited to be back here after a couple of years of not being here. And we've all had a hard time last couple of years, and just to get here is a great success. So of course we're here to win it. You know, we've won it 2 years ago. We know what it takes to win it, you know. I think that's the difference. We know what it takes to put a campaign together to win this event.
The opening day of action for the 2021 Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup saw 19 teams from 9 countries hitting the water and becoming part of this event's storied history. It was forecast to be a challenging day on Rhode Island for both competitors and the race committee. While the long-term progression of the breeze was in one direction, there were plenty of holes and random oscillations that drive tacticians crazy. Royal Thames Yacht Club had the perfect start to the regatta, setting the British club up to repeat its 2015 success, as they finished second in 2 races and then tacked on an emphatic win in the day's final contest. This translated to a 7-point lead over hosts New York Yacht Club. which sits second, a point ahead of 2017 champion Southern Yacht Club.
We're here to do as best we can to make sure that we all sail well, we all get better throughout the week. So we came out today just in a really nice sort of mindset, really nice, comfortable, not too much pressure, just in a really good space to be free to do well, and I think we achieved that.
The second day of sailing's premier Corinthian Regatta featured 3 more races. The San Francisco Yacht Club took advantage of the conditions for its first win of the regatta, capping off a marked improvement over day 1 and putting the team within range of the podium with 6 races remaining. Coming in third on the day's final race was Southern Yacht Club, which had undoubtedly the best day on the water and vaulted into the overall lead with 21 points.
It was very side-oriented today, and whether the left worked or the right worked was kind of the guessing game, and it was just extremely difficult. The puffs were in and out. The velocity was going from 6 knots to 15 knots. So it was a lot of changing gears, a lot of keeping your head out of the boat, and just kind of getting that top 10 finish. That's the main thing today. I mean, today was one of those days where you can't just, it's not a straightforward kind of day.
Day 3 was one of the most challenging on the water in the history of this regatta. But intense pressure creates diamonds. With its back to the proverbial wall, 2019 runners-up San Diego Yacht Club turned in a gem of a performance, winning both races and saving its hopes of a podium finish after a middling start by its lofty standards to the regatta.
Today we kind of got back in the groove and put ourselves in some good spots, and you know, kudos to our tactician. Jake Liddell sailed really well and had a good game plan for the team.
The other significant storyline of the day was Southern Yacht Club once again transforming a near disaster into a respectable finish. A 4th in race 8 extended the New Orleans-based club's overall lead to 13 points.
I think it was just early on in the race. We were lucky it happened on the first beat, and we just kind of settled in, tried to get our boat going fast again. It was physically challenging as well. You know, we tried to, whenever we were tacking and it was a little bit less pressure coming out of the tack, we tried to roll the boat. Even though it's a big boat, you know, we're kind of sailing it like a dinghy.
One of the most engaging aspects of this competition is the fact that many teams have family members competing together on the same crew. The ability to race alongside a brother, wife, son or father surely provides memories of a lifetime.
It's magical sailing with your kids. Like, I love it. You know, the fact that they actually, I think, sort of like sailing with me is, you know, sort of fun. And I'm sure that'll come to an end very soon. So we're trying to sort of get in a couple more regattas while we can, while they still don't mind getting on a boat with me. But it has really been fun. For me, anyway. I don't know, but
the leading Southern Yacht Club team may also have its secret in the family bond, as the helmsperson's John Lovell sees his wife, Katie, sitting behind him, working the runners. Meanwhile, tactician Marcus Egan is often calling on his brother, Andrew, for help with the sail trick.
Oh, it's great. I mean, we work together every day, too, so just to bet you that. So not only do we work together, we spend weekends together, we holiday together, and we sail together. So it's great. I mean, he might say that, shit, I would rather have a break from this guy because I see him every day. But Andrew and I get along great. He understands. He filters the chaos that sometimes I spit out, and him and I have a great relationship, and we built it over the years and continue to build it. So it's a lot of fun.
One of the goals of the IC37 class and the Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup is to increase the number of female participants. Each team is obligated to have at least 2 women on its crew. Among the highly skilled women that competed and excelled in Newport, Laura Dillon from Howth Yacht Club was a leading figure, as she was the only female tactician of the event. She hopes it's a trend that will continue to grow for future events.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's loads of women out there who are really good tacticians, and we just need to encourage more of them to come to this event and be either the helms or the tacticians on the boats. You know, I think a lot of the women here are doing trimming and everything. So, you know, certainly I think there's huge potential there, but I think maybe sometimes people aren't, you know, in the know as much. They don't sail on the normal teams as much. So hopefully that's going to begin to change.
Laura's past successes in the sport include a bronze medal at the 1996 Youth World Championships, sailed out of this very yacht club.
Back in 1996, so 25 years ago now, I did the Youth Worlds here in the New York Yacht Club, and we won a bronze medal for Ireland in the women's double-handed. So my partner went on to the Olympics in 2008. I went to work instead, but I think that was really enjoyable, and it's fantastic to be back here 25 years later. We had our dinghies on the beach here, so it's many happy memories for me.
The Invitational Cup allows her to balance her high-powered professional career with her love for top sailing competition. Laura Dillon had high praise for the organisers of the Invitational Cup and the creators of the IC37 class, which has created a platform that will allow women to gain leading on-board roles and significant responsibilities.
I think that the boats are very equally matched, and as I said, you don't have to be really big to sail them in any position really on the boat. So I think that the way that the IC37s for this regatta, you know, mandate that you can, you know, have two women on board with 8 or more sailors, I think is really good. I think that will help to give a lot more women experience on the boats, and then hopefully that will help to you know, even have more women on board. I know that Cork from Ireland and also Sweden, they have at least 3 women on board. There might be other teams. So I think that's a really good platform.
The entry list for the 2021 Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup included a strong contingent from across the Atlantic Ocean. Clubs from Great Britain, Ireland, Finland, Italy and Sweden attended the regatta and seemed to enjoy every single minute of it. And Yacht Club Argentino travelled from South America to compete.
And we are all proud to be there in such an important event, sailing event. We try to do our best, and here we are. I'm very pleased to be with them, and I hope to be there for other editions, because it's, for me, I never seen such a great and a fantastic regatta organization. Everything is surprising me.
The Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup has always been much more than just a sailing competition. Social schedule at Harbour Court and the resulting inter-club camaraderie are integral components of the experience, which competitors say is unlike any other regatta in the world.
All is, you know, the social aspect of the regatta is really good, and all the people here are great to hang out with. You can go out there and duke it out on the race course and come in and have a beer and have some fun. So.
Was once again a high point of the social agenda. With participants hanging out together and having fun, finding some time
drew power from our ancestors. We also had a great night yesterday, fueled up with lobsters and yeah.
Returning back to the action, the storyline on day 4 of the Rolex New York.
All right, we are back, and we're about to jump into race 8. Course 4 is the call. Windward Leeward seems to be the routine this week here at the Rolex Invitational Cup. And 1.2 nautical miles, they've stretched it out. Course bearing 005, and here we go.
Yeah, with 40 seconds to go, it's action right off the start because the numbers have tightened up a little bit. 27 points for San Diego, Royal Canadian on 30, Royal Vancouver on 40. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club on 41. Here we go, just down at the pin. The Royal Irish Yacht Club on board with Hannah Sweat and her team from the New York Yacht Club. They currently lie in 7th overall with 58 points. Oh dear, looks like the Irish didn't get that out. They didn't make the pin.
And the wing, and the mate's all chicken winged, and yeah.
Oh yeah, and in fact, very tight for the pin for Eastern Yacht Club. No, they're okay. No, they're not okay.
And this may be a little bit of this ebbing starting to happen, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be a tough one. They won the pin last time, denied this time.
San Diego got off the pin okay there. And so they're probably making a beeline for that left-hand shore. But quite high risk to start down at the pin there, certainly for 2 or 3 of the boats. San Diego just making a fist of it. But here we go on board with the Hong Kong Yacht Club. They've had to bail out. That is not a good scene for them at all. On port, just ducking a whole bunch of different boats. And the New York Yacht Club, Hannah Sweat, had to bail out as well. Yeah, yucky. Trying to keep a lane, trying to duck under all of those boats. It's that Joan Porter there on the windward side trimmer.
Man, that was probably one of the messiest starts, I think, of the regatta. We were late to it, but that's the pin pile up. Here we go. And a lot of boats clearing out, getting right, and those who sent off at the pin, off they go.
The tide starting to go against the boats. There was nobody OCS, which gives you another clue as to the tide against. And in fact, everyone miles off the line. Look at that. Royal Thames are the best of the starts at 17 meters.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, that's at least 2 boat lengths. What's one of these is 10 meters, 10 and a bit meters. Yeah, so a boat length and a half off the line.
So everybody pretty far back, but the Royal Thames, they said you like their start, and
yeah,
they had pace.
Yeah, look at that launch. They were on at 5.9 knots and closest to. So here we go, upwind. Here we go with the New York Yacht Club team. They seem to have got themselves out into some clear air. Dave Scott huffing and puffing on the mainsail there. Joan Porter just to windward.
Yeah, the New York Yacht Club team here, I mean, they certainly have the most experience in the venue. Obviously, they're from here. This is their club, and Hannah Sweat lives on these waters. And they've had a tough regatta, both outside, inside, and they need a good one to start feeling better about this campaign that they put in a lot of time into.
Yeah, Japan Sailing Federation looking nice there on the port, heading out towards the right-hand side. We'll get with the track as well. That'll give us some idea of which side of the course is favoured, but I think I can expect them to both go left and right to get out of the tide as a tug and barge just going out towards the right-hand side. Let's go down to the water. We haven't heard from our friend, colleague, and commentator down on the water, Alison Chenard.
Guys, yeah, I got some news on Japan and Argentina. Unfortunately, if you're seeing on the score sheets from that last race, they both earned an NSC on their scorecards. They failed to keep a limit mark to the proper side on the downwind leg. So while we saw a great finish for Japan there, that is not going to reflect on the score sheet. They're going to take an NSC for that race. They did protest the scoring, and then they were made aware of their penalty, and they withdrew their protest. So tough race for them on that last one, especially after a long time working for that. That was a long race, so it's hard to see that go up on the score sheet, but we'll hope for a better one this time around. They learned their lesson.
Oh dear, sorry for them, yeah. Well, we are now following up with New York Yacht Club, who found themselves a clean lane, and as you say, Hannah Sweat from these here parts, and she's almost pointing at her house right there on the Jamestown shore.
And those of us who missed the day's first race, an exciting, thrilling, slow-paced win for the team on Ichnor, their first win in, as we know, 10 years. And it's great to see some new teams up in the front here. And for the first time, I think, so far this week, Yacht Club Argentino chipping away at the top.
I can guarantee you Ichnor Sailing Club is the smallest sailing club here. It's a village of maybe 500 people. Less members than that for sure at the club. Anyway, New York Yacht Club just passing ahead of Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club, who've decided to bail out of that left-hand side as the boats head upwind. Nice picture of a duck there from the Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club. Great pictures now. Very clear air from this northerly gradient. Oi! There's someone from the Cranston Navy just going through the Fleet Racecourse. What's going on here?
Who are these sailboats in my way?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this is good. New York Yacht Club now looking quite nice in the middle of the course, but still the right-hand side is still favouring off the line. There's been a reasonable right-hand shift here, and that's why, well, we can see the Royal Thames Yacht Club are first towards that right-hand side, having won towards the boat and are now off like a robber's dog towards the right-hand side. We don't have any pictures of them right yet. We usually follow with our cameras along the left-hand side pin side of the race course, Royal Vancouver. So at the top of the leaderboard right now, Royal Thames, Yacht Club Argentino, Yacht Club Punta del Este, Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, Royal Cork, Hong Kong, Eastern Japan, Corinthian, Swedish, San Diego down in 11th, Royal Vancouver worse than that, and the Royal Canadians not good either. So a bit of a mix-up in the fleet here for show. Royal Canadians showing in 16th. Here's Royal Vancouver Yacht Club in their teal tops.
Well, let's bring it back to the Argentinian. This is their 7th appearance here at the Invitational Cup, and last year was their 7th, which was their best result over these 7 tries. And we wind back the clocks at the time. They actually started this event last year leading or up front, had a just banner a couple days, and it went downhill from there. So this is a good start for them to get back into this competition.
Yes, I think there's more flow of ebb tide on the left-hand side. The left-hand side is not paying today,
as it was yesterday.
Get to the right. Here's the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. They are towards the right-hand side. They're now on starboard, going towards the windward mark. Look how little rudder movement there is.
Again, this is one of those 100% returning crew teams. The boat handling to them should be easy, and the chemistry is there, and that's why they're knocking on the top 3.
Oh, great pictures. Hey, we got the drone up today. Look at that. Looking out over, that's Aquidneck Island on the left-hand side, the Burma Road, just to the north of Naval Station Newport.
Leading up to Safe Harbor New England Boat Works, where all these boats live whenever they're not being used for basically a lot of events this summer. And so the boats, after every regatta, they get shifted up to Safe Harbor, Newport, New England Boat Works, and come out of the water. The sails go off to North Sails to get cleaned and shuffled and put away nicely, and back the boats go off for every regatta. It's an amazing program where you could just truly show up and go racing.
Yeah, they look beautiful, all racked up there at Safe Harbor. Thanks for their support, and it's great to have them there. I think I might be taking my boat there for the first time this winter to the Portsmouth headquarters.
It's an amazing facility that just keeps getting bigger and cleaner and more sophisticated than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Yacht Club Punta del Este, we haven't seen much of them, and chipping away.
What have we got here? Is that just show us the mainsail there? Just ease up a bit. Is that Vancouver? I think that's Royal Vancouver Yacht Club, isn't it?
Well, we had Moose on earlier Moose McClintock, the fleet coach, and talking about crew movements on the, and just where the bodies are positioned. And where they're set up here, it's amazing to me. We thought this was going to be a possible one race light northerly day, but the breeze is sticking in, and this looks like a fantastic breeze for the second race.
Royal Canadian Yacht Club right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that crew movement, there's we saw a couple down below there. It looks like teams are being really conscious of where they're putting their weight, and they're moving up in the puff. But it looks like maybe the trimmers are down below and staying nimble on those sheets, but light on their feet. And the skippers, I was talking to Johanna this morning, the Swedish team, and she said she could feel every step in the boat. And so all those tall Swedish men need to take light ballerina footsteps and keep it jostling to a minimum today.
Cat-like ballerina move steps. I'm sure you could teach them a thing or two, Allison.
I keep telling any sailor who will listen, if you take dance lessons, I think you'll be much better on your feet and less injury prone, especially those 49er sailors.
There you go. All right, Royal Cork Yacht Club. Tack it back to what would be the middle of the course here, and from here, breeze looks good.
Yeah, it looks all right. Breeze has popped up a bit there, has it, Alison?
It has. We're in motion, so I can't get an exact reading for you, but crews have moved up, the breeze is up, and we are thanking the wind gods for smiling upon us after a tough start to the day.
All right, fantastic.
And it looks like the left's come back a little bit, but I'm trying to find where Royal Thames Yacht Club were in such good shape, but they had a bit of a bish there somehow. They seem to have been pushed out of their top spots. I didn't quite see what happened. We'll rewind the tracker a little bit and see what went down.
Yeah, this is, as Moose was describing in the previous races, these lanes are near to impossible to hold if you're going slow. And so sometimes maybe they got bounced out, had nothing left to play. And there's a fleet marching to the right side of the racecourse here at the moment.
Yeah, I think they came back too soon. Royal Thames came back too soon. They should have carried on. They came back too soon and then just got in the pack. And that has not served them well for the Royal Thames.
And at least currently, at least on the tracker in here in our results, so the Corinthian Yacht Club, fantastic stream from Marblehead, and this went early. This is a Marblehead kind of day, light, shifty, flat water. And this would be the first time we've seen Corinthian up here in the lead group.
Alison, just talk to us. You came out with the Royal Swedish Yacht Club this morning, did you?
I did, yes. And their strengths are, as Bruce noted earlier, they do have the only IC-37 in Europe. So they were able to practice all as a team. Also, stop me if it's getting too loud here. I'm going to do my best. But they do have the only IC-37 in Europe. But they lack that kind of boat-on-boat testing. So they might be really dialed with the crew, but you don't know truly until you get out here with the rest of the boat how you stack up against the fleet. So they just got their team as good as they could get their operations down. But they cite their teamwork and their communication as their strength. And truthfully, for all the teams that I've been talking to, everyone seems to say the same. Like their prevailing strength is how well they communicate and they work together. And for this kind of a long regatta where you're going to be tested with a range of conditions and resetting every race, it's so important to be able to lean on that friendship, reset, and go again from race to race and day to day. And that's really what's going to bring the champions to the forefront. So they said the Swedish this morning said that their worst disagreement so far has been what temperature to keep the house at night. Some of them really like the cooler temperatures and the thick blankets. And so that's their prevailing disagreement. But on the water, they seem to be doing great.
Oh, there you go. That's an easy one to settle. Open the window if you want it. It looks like the Corinthian Yacht Club looked to be the first boat to get out right. Now probably tacking back to center up on the course, protect these. They're sort of a group of boats mid right here. So yeah, just covering. This is good. This is going to be a good one for Corinthian, I think. They need it.
San Diego Yacht Club back in the hunt. They're doing very nicely. Corinthian. Well, it's all pretty mixed up here as they come towards the top. That doesn't look like there's great angle to come back from the right.
Yeah.
The right is sort of favoured, but it's not great being able to come back from it. I don't quite know what that means, but San Diego now leading. Are they? Yeah, pretty much. They're pretty close to leading.
I think things will shuffle around once this fleet compresses a little bit more. But as it compresses here as well, San Diego Yacht Club overall after 7 races, 27 points. The Royal Canadians with 30. So this is that's 2 less than they had this morning, and everybody's chipping away into it. Royal Vancouver with 40.60. They're carrying redress points from the first day, and those carry through until Friday, but do not apply for Saturday's races. So a bit of funky math going on there for the top 3. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club with 41, Royal Thames 45, Royal Swedish 46, and then quite a bit of a break there with New York Yacht Club at 50, Corinthian 60, and Royal Cork 61, Eastern at 65. And there's your top 10 boats on the overall scores after 7 races.
Going to be very tricky coming in here into the top mark. Can the boats coming in on the left? So there we go. We've got Corinthian Yacht Club tacking onto port. So they're not laying the top mark there. San Diego Yacht Club now tacking. Is that a thin ley line? How are they going to go there? And I suspect that the Corinthian Yacht Club are probably going to tack right in their face. This is going to be a very tricky ley line for San Diego, but just managed to squeeze out. I'm not quite sure they're laying on San Diego. So if they can't lay, this will be bad. If they can lay, they're going to be in good shape. That purple is the keep away mark. So they're not going around there, but the boats have to get around there either on port or starboard.
Yeah, chances are if we're seeing that in frame, San Diego's probably pretty safe on its starboard ley line, and you better hope so because there's nowhere for them to go to get out of there.
No, but they're going to be good. If they get around here in second, they're going to be in great shape. Where have we got Corinthian, Royal Vancouver, Royal Canadian? Where are they on the Royal Vancouver? Are okay, they're up there. But Royal Canadian, no, not so good. They're laying okay here. Yep, those front boats are laying. Just don't want to... I mentioned that Itchner, the village, had 400 people. In fact, it's 289 at the census in 2011. I don't think there's any more people joined there. I know a couple of families that had babies, but that's about it. So we might go up to a nudge of 2. But the population a little older, so we probably got rid of a few as well.
There you go, Royal Corinthian in there first. Allison, are they coming in hot?
They are. That is a great rounding for Corinthians. I'm sure the Facebook and YouTube chats are going crazy right now with all of their supporters back home. They have a little lead on San Diego coming in behind them, but San Diego still has enough space to do what they want. And behind them is House Yacht Club and Royal Hong Kong. And then we've got a really, really complicated rounding behind them. There's a little bit of a lift. Oh, we've got contrast between Japan and 19. I'm just relaying as it comes in from the Royal Thames and Japan. So we had contact there. Umpires saw it and are monitoring. That was coming around the windward mark, and they're getting their kites out. So we'll see how this resolves. There's a little lift coming around the windward mark, and for some of those that had to do 2 final tacks, it just didn't hit them quite in time. But this is a very congested windward mark rounding. It looks like Japan is taking a turn, and Royal Thames is on their way, so they are continuing. But it is quite the commotion up here.
Yeah.
San Diego did a good job there. They did a really nice job of that last part of their upwind work, just keeping clear of the starboard tackers on the when they were coming in from the port side, and they just managed to thread the needle and get themselves onto the ley line, and they got in there just fine. That's boat number 5 doing a penalty turn.
And also right in there, Hoth Yacht Club. We're talking about them. They, this is their third time here at this Invitational Cup, 11th. Their best result. Darren Wright, the helmsman, Ewan McMahon on the tactician, and yeah, here they are, up with the front group. Fantastic. This looks like everybody's carrying here on starboard jibe.
Do we see anyone jibe set now? The only boats we saw jibe set. Oh, look at that. Yacht Club Costa Esmeralda doing a penalty turn right up there at the mark rounding. Not nice at all for them. But otherwise, everyone charging down to this bottom mark on starboard. San Diego just trying to...
And we've got...
yeah, go ahead.
Royal Cork was our only boat to jibe set there, and then New York Yacht Club gave it a little bit of length and is now punching out left. Japan is looking to switch it up. That was a tough rounding for them with that penalty, so I think they're going to go out and see what they can do by getting away from the fleet and the pack, and maybe coming lucky. The jibs are down. We were noting about how important it is to get the flow across that kite. And when the breeze is up, it's advantageous to keep those jibs up. It helps as Mike Marshall was saying yesterday, helps to accelerate the flow through that slot there and across the backside of the main. But the jibs are down today. They want as full kites as possible, and they're going to be looking for those delayed main jibes and coordinated crew presses as they move their weights up to windward. Try to move as one unit, even though there's a ton of people on board. So boat handling is at a maximum priority and strong tactics, very confident calls here.
Yeah, excellent. We were talking earlier, looking at some of the stats yesterday, that on average, you're looking at about 4 tacks, 2 jibes. 4 tacks, 2 jibes, as is, total maneuvers throughout the race. And so you've got to make, when you only have 2 jibes, you better make them count and make them good. I don't know, Andy. I'm feeling this.
What a beautiful picture right there. A sea of international flags from all around the world. Sweden, Great Britain, Ireland, Argentina, Australia.
Yeah, great clubs, and the clubs are into it.
Oh, yeah.
Watch parties, the social media feeds have been firing, and those who are not following already, the New York Yacht Club also, their feeds are just been oozing with awesome content, videos, interviews. So if you've been missing it, go catch up. There is a lot there.
Oh, great. I love these stats. Look at that. First upwind leg. Sailed fastest by the Corinthian Yacht Club by 12 seconds. They sailed substantially more distance. 5% more distance. But they went 7% faster.
That's a good thing. You're good with numbers.
Hoth Yacht Club. But yeah. Anyway, there's plenty to chew on right there. Love that. There we go. Some more beautiful pictures. A great job from Icarus giving us all these live pictures from on the water.
Yeah, we sort of wind back the track a little bit. San Diego up there in that lead group, they were sort of midline, bounced all around a little bit on the left side of the course, but as always, they never get to the edges. They keep it somewhat to the middle, and their results are kind of showing it. They're a couple race wins, but on average, the last 2 days, they've been a little bit mid-fleet.
Yeah, crucial race here for San Diego. If San Diego can nail in a top 3 here, it's going to make it quite challenging for the Royal Canadians to get back into them here, because right now...
Yeah, we're assuming the gentleman there with his hands behind his on his back on Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club, who just on board, Duncan Greger. You got hands behind the back, hands on the hip, hats thrown. Can you tell the mood of the tactician by the location of the hands these days?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, certainly hand on hat, hat on floor. It's called the Terry Hutchinson. It is a famous moment from the Congressional Cup some years ago. He was quite upset. Hannah Sweat there, looking cool and calm, though. Here we go. Some action from the crews out on the water. That Japan Sailing Federation right there. No, Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club.
Yeah.
There we go, the orchid, the five-petaled orchid right there, showing their combination of their nation of the People's Republic of China, along with this sort of the city of Hong Kong, which is complicated. Don't go into that. But anyway, it's a slightly they have a slightly separate arrangement than other cities in countries that they're part of. Let's move on.
Yeah, 1890. Do you think they're one of the older clubs here then? No, they can't be. No. Well, we'll come back to that. We'll find out who was founded first, which is the most ancient of these royal clubs.
The Royal Cork.
Right. 250,
1720.
right? Yeah,
1720. Royal Thames is 250 years old now.
Man, it's amazing. 1890. That's a long time ago. They've got 9 on board. Matthew Courtois, Marcus Schmidt, Samuel Stitt, Andrew Taylor, Elizabeth Y, Kai Ming Yip is the rest of this Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club crew. Having a great regatta.
On board with the New York Yacht Club right there. That's Dave Scott pulling the main sheet in. Projected standings. This would put San Diego 9 points ahead. What day is it today? It's Thursday, so we've got Friday and Saturday to go. So still 5 races after this, maybe 4 if we get one more in today.
The goal is to get to 12.
No more. Won't do more than 12 though. No more than 12. Royal Vancouver, Royal Canadian, and the Royal Thames. Just there in screen. Not having their best race here. Where have we got the Royal Thames at? Oh no, they're back. They're 5th. Just made a slight bish on that first upwind by tacking too early out of the right-hand side. They probably should have just carried on banging the right. They had such a good start. They were absolute boss out of the start line. And then maybe just tried to cover the fleet a little too much. Little conservative sometimes.
Yeah, we got the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club going to bit into, and I suppose at least in the rankings right now, took the lead here from Corinthian. But as we get down to the bottom of the course, maybe Allison's down there set up. Can you give a sense of the angles coming into this lured gate, this first gate of the race?
We're on our way to the point of allow me to get a much better answer for you, but we're on course left at the moment. Everyone looks beautiful from here, but I can't quite see angles as well. I'll get back to you.
Right on. Get back to us when you get to the mark. And Corinthian has jibed on to starboard, so let's see how this all comes together.
Shout out to Gail Hutchinson, who's supporting the San Diego Yacht Club, enjoying the live coverage here on YouTube, on Facebook Live. Welcome all our viewers all over the place. It's great to see you all for this celebration of amateur sailing between some of the world's greatest yacht clubs here in Newport, Rhode Island for the Rolex 2025 New York Yacht Club Invitational. Oh, lobster boat. Trying to pick up the traps.
No, it's fantastic sailing today. Way better than I think a lot of us thought it would be. So this is
big puff coming in from the right here. Big puff coming in from the right. Yep, that lobster boat catching tonight's dinner.
That always seems to be a highlight for a lot of the teams that are not, from here. They're trying to get their maximum fill of lobsters while they can.
Oh, the lobster bake. I mean, there's not much better that the yacht club do on their for their seafood night. Anyway, tonight the lobster bake, cold water lobsters, by far superior.
Yeah, the social part of this thing is massive. First night, San Diego Yacht Club had the Defenders Night. They threw a mariachi band on the stage, some tacos, Modelo, and well, there's some Darkest Stormies being thrown in amongst the margaritas that were flowing. But it's great under the big tent. Teams getting together. Fun times.
San Diego.
Yeah, it's going to get busy here at the bottom.
Yeah, Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club suddenly got into that puff. They weren't in the puff as the boats jibed. Japanese Sailing Federation coming around the outside, but here we go. Coming into the bottom mark. There is San Diego. That is good defender's dinner. I like that.
It's quite amazing. Allison called the Japan Sailing Federation jibe early up at the top, and that got them right into this front group.
Well, look at that. They're
It's down at the bottom here, and these angles, it's the starboard angle is allowing people to get as low as possible. So it looks like the whole fleet is going to be coming in on the starboard jibe here. The port jibe is pretty high. It's not going to deliver you to the gate as quickly as the starboard one. So it's a nice array, nice view of all the kites coming in here all on the same jibe.
Yeah, maybe we can get a drone look at this pinwheel that's about to play out at this leeward mark. It's about to happen.
Yeah, this is good. Yeah, stick with this. Beautiful pictures right there. It's the boats coming out behind here. That is Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club just doing their rounding now. Japan Sailing Federation choosing the other mark. Royal Vancouver Yacht Club coming around just behind the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club founded in 1889. But there was an existing club there, 1849. Here we go with Royal Thames. They managed to get right down there and squeeze around all of the other boats. Is that the Royal Thames? 19, yeah, that's the Royal Thames. Behind them, 18, Eastern Yacht Club. So this side really gained. Oh, Royal Thames haven't quite got it. Let the halyard go. Halyard off.
Allison, what's the chatter in the talk amongst the boats going on right now in that group?
Chaos.
Yeah, I really thought that the Swedes were going to continue around, but I think maybe they were afraid of a pinwheel as well. So they were aiming toward the course left gate, and then they changed their minds and they are going around course right.
Yeah,
These kite douses are, as Mike was saying, you want a little tension on the belly cord, but then you want to let it flow out freely, and just let it fall right back into the boat there. Oh, there's a lot of yelling.
Yeah, I bet.
Sounds like it is between the Brazilian Yacht Club de Ilhabela and the Swedes, maybe?
Yeah, the Brazilian
Very
club
vocal
didn't have room, did they? Looks like nice breeze top right. Bit of breeze top left as well.
Well, that's one of those leeward mark ridings that is just going to completely shuffle around the middle of the fleet. A lot of boats probably going not where they intended to go 2 minutes ago. But Corinthian, fully out in front of this fleet, covering right up the middle. San Diego Yacht Club positioned to leeward on port tack.
Yeah, sailing is easy. You just get out in front and stay there. That's what my college coach said.
New York Yacht Club having to do 2 tacks at the bottom there. That's not going to be good for them.
And I know in the front, those boats out front, San Diego, Corinthian, they've got to be looking behind them, thankful that they were not in that mess. And I'm sure they just padded as much as a 130-meter lead over the next boat back. So nice jump for those two up front.
Yeah, San Diego now erring on that right-hand side. Probably the sensible thing to do, and it looked like there is breeze coming down. So when you're leading like this, when you're at the front, you really want the breeze to build because you can make some great extensions on the upwind.
Just a good, clean game of cover.
On board New York Yacht Club boat. On port, heading upwind. Happy birthday to their coach, Tom Burnham, today, is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Tom's birthday today. Happy birthday, Tom.
He looks good for his age. He's
How
got
do
to
you
be.
know? I was never going to mention his age.
We don't mention his age. Just say he looks good at whatever age he is.
Yeah.
No, he's all this America's Cup sailing, working in the gym with all the athletes that they train with. Life is good for Mr. Burnham.
Right. So there was a little bit of a left shift there. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club and Royal Vancouver took it, and Corinthian and San Diego had to come back to it just to cover them off a bit, because the breeze is definitely up and down in pressure as much as it is in shift. Corinthian did just done 2 or 3 tacks in the last few minutes just to get themselves between the Royal Hong Kong, Royal Vancouver. San Diego Yacht Club moving towards the right-hand side. Now they've got their chance to get to the right, but the breeze has shifted left a bit.
Yeah, the original course axis was 005 at the start of this race, and this morning's races started at what, 010, then it went to 00 due north. So it's doing its northerly thing, right? 10 to 15, one way or the other, every hour or so. And Boos here earlier was saying we're probably going to get a nice push of northerly as the ebb gets cranking, and then that the breeze is going to create air and die throughout the afternoon, and it'd be great to get 2 races in here. It's good.
Yeah, here the Royal Thames Yacht Club. Where are they in the mix here? Not so good. They've pushed out to the left-hand side, and they've slightly missed that shift.
Yeah.
Possibly not. We'll see how it goes out for them. We're just...
Yeah, I think in the crystal ball, it's the Corinthian, the Royal Hong Kong, and the Vancouvers who got left to San Diego. And crystal ball a little bit forward. No doubt they're going to come out in front on this group.
Yeah, Royal Thames don't look so good. There's a long, long way to go on the left-hand side. But I think there was just a big puff in the middle of the race course. San Diego have dropped back a bit. Royal Hong Kong and Royal Vancouver have overtaken them. And this is where we're starting to get down to single-digit placing, single-digit differences. Royal Canadian.
Well, yeah, and we go back to this, the 20th. That is just shackling the Hong Kong team here.
Royal Canadian are down in 18th. So really, Royal Vancouver, who are 13 points behind San Diego. So San Diego just shepherding everyone around here. Can the Royal Thames come back into this? They need quite a substantial left-hand shift. They're not seeing it right now. Well, they're seeing a bit of it.
Yeah, a little more open space here than obviously on the first beat after the leeward mark rounding pushed people a little further back. You can see it from here. A lot more open course, and so at this point, ready just go to sail the boat fast, connect in the puffs.
Yeah.
Right, so this is, again, going back to the Hong Kong 20th that they're holding on to, and they're ruining that because this is a no throw out, no discard regatta. And other than that, man, they've been ripping off top 5 finishes, which right now, a lot of ifs and whats, but they would be probably winning this thing.
Right.
But that was yesterday. New day.
Royal Thames have had to come back again. The left-hand side, not winning for them. There's a big gaggle of boats out towards the right-hand side between like 6th. Angle's quite big. Breeze, a major factor. Here's the Royal Thames. Coming back to it, and San Diego only just crossing them on starboard. So Royal Thames have nudged back into it a little bit here. But there's a huge group behind them, just to the right-hand side. Big group.
Yeah, I'm starting to, Corinthian seems to be, again, checking it was way back to the middle of the course, maybe a bit of covering game on Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. And I know it's early in the regatta, right? But at this point, do you start playing the math and who you got to beat or which boats you got to cover too early?
Right. I mean, I think not in this light breeze. I think you're basically just trying to, you're basically just trying to get a decent finish, and what happens with the other boats. But at the moment.
Yeah, Royal Vancouver is getting a little poked.
Yeah, and the Royal Canadian is dead last. So that will add 20 points to their 30. So they've had 30 points in 7 races. Oof. And then they'll have 50 points in 8 races. Ay, ay, ay. But Royal Vancouver, if they can win this one, that'll nudge a couple of points off their average points as well, because they get average points for races 2 and 3.
Yeah, so that's been the oddity of this redress carryover at 6 point whatever points they had. That to their benefit, they needed a win to really help that redress, and they're going to be this could be changed this top 3 quite significantly.
Right.
Yeah. Again, good story of diversity. Those who were not listening earlier, they had a bit of a collision on the first day. Had some mast issues. Had to get a new boat brought into the rotation, and spending good 15 plus hours getting that boat set up for this event, and putting their marks on their sheets and getting it set up how they'd like it to sail. And a good story of rising from adversity. It was a tough first day, but they've been putting in solid finishes since then.
Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club on port, doing very nicely. They're just legging out. They've got a couple of their boats on their windward side. They're sailing very smoothly indeed.
Yeah, I kind of wonder what happened to the Canadians. Is that just out of that mark running, or some penalty points, or penalty turns?
Right, 800 meters behind the leaders. Oh, and it's getting worse.
We'll have to come back to that one. Same thing, New York Yacht Club was up there in that front group. They're now kind of bleeding positions on this second beat. This is a tough one for a lot of teams. Ichnor in there with the top group, though, our race winner of race 7. So, outstanding day for Ichnor.
Yeah, they're finding their feet.
Yeah.
Ichnor. Good for them. Hannah Sweat, Dave Scott right there.
Yeah, Dave Scott, one of the best trimmers. I guess those who are here would say he's one of the best trimmers in the fleet, and knows how to make this boat go for sure. And they just need to get some open space. Eastern Yacht Club keeping itself up in the front there. So as we said earlier, this is a kind of Marblehead day, and both teams having much better results so far.
So despite what we've been saying about the wind shifting left and right, no course changes. This is the second upwind, and they got final downwind to go. So it stayed reasonably consistent. But as we said, the tide is building. The ebb tide is building, so that means the current is starting to flow a little more, particularly in the middle and the middle left side of the race course as it compresses around the top of Jamestown.
Yeah, I like the last race. This is fascinating. Great tactical racing. Yeah, it appears as maybe I was getting a little ahead of myself with Royal Vancouver jumping out ahead. Keep dialing back to the tracker, and that left group got to jump on them. It's all Corinthian at this point.
Yeah, Tim Wadlow, great sailor. Here we go. Looking at attack here on the New York Yacht Club as there's trim on the leeward runner. Very gentle on the new runner. And then just get it nice and stiff for the tack, and then easing it off just to give a bit of shape in the jib as acceleration starts. And then as the acceleration goes, just wind on the runner a little more just to flatten off the front of the jib. Dave Scott then pulling the Traveller up once the boat's up to speed.
Yeah, that's the New York Yacht Club on board. They're currently, I don't know, 15th on the tracker, but a good bit of distance there between the boats. You can see out in their forward window, and yeah, they got a lot of climbing to do.
They have got a bit of climbing to do, haven't they? Corinthian, Royal Hong Kong, Royal Vancouver up in the top 3. Then there's Eastern Itchner, Royal Cork. What happened to San Diego? San Diego are... they missed a shift or two here.
Yeah.
Not looking quite so good. They were kind of up there. Now the tracker's got them at 10, so they're in a reasonable spot. They're on the left-hand side, coming in on port ley line. I think that's just a bit of... They're in a lefty, so I think that's a little bit of tracky glitchy.
Yeah, I think they're on the good angle to the mark at the moment on port tack.
Mm-hmm. This thing says Royal Thames. Royal Thames has got only the 3rd amount to go to the mark. Well, we'll see how this all plays out. Tight spot there to be living in, just to windward.
Yes, as good as we're getting to the top here. I wonder, what a drone perspective could show us that the tracker does not. Might be interesting to see.
New York Yacht Club, tight to leeward of bow number 3, the Royal Irish Yacht Club. And here we go on board with the New York Yacht Club.
Looks all pretty quiet and chill.
Might be quiet. I don't think it's chill out here. There's not a lot of talking going on, or at least not at loud volumes, but tensions are always high. Up here at the windward mark, we had our first 2 attempts their ley line, so that's Corinthian still holding down first, and Royal Hong Kong right behind them. So those are tacticians Tim Wadlow and Duncan Greger, again, our youngest guy ever in the tactician role in this regatta's history. And you were saying earlier, the choreography is a disgruntled tactician. He's young, but he knows the moves, hands on hips.
Yeah, he's got the more...
They seem to have laid it, yeah.
He's got a new style with the hands behind the hips, which that's more classy, I think. Yeah.
It is very classy, indeed. It is the New York Yacht Club regatta, so...
Well, we want to have some, we want to have some tactician body language as we're on board with Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club, just coming in towards the top mark. They're on ley line, tacking just to leeward of them.
I believe it was Royal Vancouver.
Royal Vancouver, yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, but there's enough pressure up here. I think they could squeak it out. So, Hong Kong is closing it a little bit. This is one to watch. This is going to be a little hairy.
We're on board with them. Keep talking.
And they're doing it. Yep, they're making it. Royal Vancouver is doing a quick turnaround there, and they're going to sneak out from underneath Royal Hong Kong. But there's enough space for them to squeeze in. And the poles are coming out. Any of the 1-point penalties that the umpires have been giving out have been so far for early poles. So you are allowed to send your pole out once you've rounded the windward mark and then that stretch to the offset. So a lot of teams were reminded this morning that you must round the windward mark before that pole comes out. So they're being very careful about that now.
Yeah.
Two ahead of themselves. So behind them with a gap, the length of the offset is number 2, San Diego, has made their way back in here. Behind them at 19, which is Royal Thames. And we've got a small tack coming in, not the craziest rounding we've seen. Oh, and a double tack. Actually, not a full double tack by Eastern. They had to just pinch up, carry their momentum around. These boats are heavy, so you can carry some momentum. They're not going to shut off right when you turn up into irons. So they carried a bit of speed around that windward mark, and now they're on their way to their offset. Nice side Eastern. And same thing's happening to Japan. They're using their momentum to get around the windward mark, and I think the boats coming in behind them are seeing now maybe 2 of them make the same little error, calling it just a little bit early, so they're going to be a little more cautious and not get caught in the same position and have to make the same moves.
Yeah, I think that caught a couple teams off guard yesterday as the tide got a little stronger. There was a lot more double tacking going and some boats hitting the mark, so hopefully some of those teams have learned the lesson. But, yeah, that's a tricky one.
San Diego up to 4th, it looks like, Alison.
It does look like that indeed. They're easy to spot with their yellow kites from their first place standing at the end of yesterday. And they're on their way down there with Corinthians still holding the lead. Good race for the Americans.
Yeah, I think, except for a little bit of a lead change yesterday in Japan Sailing Federation's win, I think statistically those who have been out front so far in all these races have won races. So that's a good stat for Corinthian.
Indeed. And now we've got Royal Irish coming around the offset mark. On board, they do have an American, Fiona Walsh, but she is very, very Irish. In this region of the country, there's a lot of Irish, my family included, but she is the first American-born family member of her family. So she met them after the team race nationals that were here earlier this year, if I'm remembering correctly, and so they brought her on board. She sails ISB 37th a lot here at New York Yacht Club, and she's a great train to have on board as they navigate this rather new boat for them.
And Alison,
right,
a few more jibe sets out of the top there, it looks like.
We do. New York Yacht Club had a jibe set, and so did Royal Thames coming around. Royal Torque is now engaged in the jibe set right after their offsets, and maybe Itchener's doing the same. They are setting in for a jibe set, and they're going to drop their jib and be on their way.
Yeah, we were just on board with Royal Cork Yacht Club as they perform that jibe set, but it looks pretty light after the jibe set. That's Itchener in 11. Doing all right. They're getting a bit between the teeth. They're getting their feet under the table. Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, Yacht Club Argentina. On board with Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. I was just admiring the needlepoint belt on, was that Royal Hong Kong? Maybe it was Royal Cork.
And speaking of Costa Smeralda, worth noting they were the first race winner of this whole series outside on the first day when we were in the big breeze and giant waves. They started this whole thing with a win. And, yeah, as we've moved these courses inside into the bay, has not been to their liking, but not bad for them. Yesterday was a bad day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Giant waves.
Yeah, 6 feet. Well, you know.
6 feet, do you think?
That's what the crews were reporting. 6 feet, yeah.
Right.
Depending on which one you're riding.
Yeah, that was probably Ben Field calling them 6 feet.
There was some good surfing going on that first day. Man, that was, you go back, look at the pictures and the videos, and that'll be the one that a lot of people remember.
Yeah. Okay, good. Here we go. Mark 1, leg 3 of 4. So this was the second upwind. Corinthian sailed by far the longest distance of the first few, but they were quite a lot quicker. 22 seconds. So I think they only gained a couple of seconds by... oh no, look. They actually lost 29 seconds. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
we're just doing a little bit of maths there.
And I think that distance sailed for Royal Vancouver. I think when we were looking back at the tracker, you go, there was a couple more tacks there for Corinthian, whether they were covering or just centering around the course. I think Royal Vancouver had one less tack, sailed a little more straight up the middle of the course.
Royal Thames and Eastern sailing quite short distances along with Royal Vancouver. New York Yacht Club, those two tacks at the bottom, giving them 1.7. Okay, good. I like these. That's good stats. Thank you.
And we're probably about halfway down these the last downwind leg here, and man, there's some. I would assume the back of the fleet there did the jibe set. You got to do something. You got to make something happen. You can't follow people out to the right.
But better tide probably a reason that they jibe set, I suspect. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club currently leading. San Diego Yacht Club following close behind them. They all like this initial starboard, long starboard down towards the bottom.
Yeah.
How much is there on port? Not a huge amount on port, and so I think that's entirely sensible that Royal Hong Kong and San Diego both sticking with that starboard jibe. Here we've got pictures of the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. I think that's Ambush Drew. They're trimming the spinnaker as they go downwind, or is that Matt Curtois? Matt Curtois, I think, a little further forward. My old mate from Southampton University, naval architect, now calls Hong Kong home.
Yeah, Corinthian. I'm surprised. early yet, but that they maybe let this one get away. And I got gave them the curse.
Right.
As soon as I said it, they jibed, and we'll see what happens coming out of this.
Hoth having a nice race as well from the Northern Irish Yacht Club. There's San Diego with their yellow spinnaker, denoting their lead from this morning. Still holding on to the lead. Are they going to be one of the teams that holds it through the entire regatta? We've got tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Tomorrow is Friday. We don't know if we're going to get a third race in today. We'll see if they've decided enough. I think forecast is reasonable for tomorrow.
It was
better.
Yeah, better for tomorrow than Saturday. So they, maybe if they, well, if we're lucky, they could squeeze one more in today. Well, they've still got the rest of this northerly and get 2 more in, and they've got Saturday to play with.
What do we got tomorrow? A bit slightly stronger easterly tomorrow. East going southeast. Saturday doesn't look so good, does it?
No, not at all.
We'll see.
Still in discussion.
Still in discussion. It's not totally dead. It's still, there's still flow.
Yeah.
So we're not a bit like today. The forecast wasn't super good, but it's actually turned out to be just fine.
Yeah, a fantastic day on Narragansett Bay. Good close racing. This is again that we talked about when you go inside the bay or anything can happen. A lot more variables and a lot of changing in the fleet.
Hoth doing a nice job. That's bow number 10. Right there, as you say, this is their third time here.
11th is their best result, and they've only sailing with 8, which is kind of interesting. Whether they're right on the weight limit or they can get this boat around the course with one less body than what is the average, seems to be 9. And but on board with Darren Wright and McMahon is Brian Turvey, Faye Chatterton, Nigel Biggs, Johnny Sargent, Rocco Wright, and Sienna Wright, 17 years old, which is the youngest competitor here.
Nigel Biggs, quite the dinghy sailor from years past in the UK dinghy scene. Very, very good sailor indeed. I've seen him a couple of times this year, coming to the IC37 events, putting in some practice.
Yeah, and Rocco Wright, only 19 years old, so they probably bring down the average age on that boat significantly. Rocco Wright, was the 2021 Laser 4.7 national champion. I mean, he's not even at ILCA 6 yet, and he was 20th at the 2021 IOD Optimus Worlds of 259 boats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those Optimus regattas. Well, I did Optimus Europeans in Lake Balaton in 1987. My goodness, that's aging me. But yeah, 320 boats. Unbelievable. 40, I think it was 47th or something.
Yeah. But it's a cool experience for these young sailors. Again, this is sort of the theme we hear in the tent is, again, the opportunity for these 21, 19 younger sailors to come and get a taste of a real high-level international competition. There's nothing like it on this planet.
Great sailing coming down towards the bottom mark. San Diego on the right, Royal Hong Kong, and Hoth in the middle.
Yeah, right. Sienna Wright, 17, I said, right? 17. Do you remember what you were doing when you were 17?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cows Week. Yeah. Having a lot of fun.
I can't believe you remember it.
Oh, yeah. I was sailing a 12-meter Crusader. 1989, my second year on White Crusader. I think we won the Britannia Cup. I have to think back that far to when I actually won something.
So Japan Sailing Federation, and get back to the racing here, you can see them creeping up in the rankings, and they pretty much sent it far right downwind. And on this jibe angle coming back at this group here, they're certainly in this thing. It's getting busy behind them.
Yeah, there's the Hong Kong Yacht Club trying to run down the San Diego Yacht Club just in front of them, but they're probably okay with just taking that spot right now.
Yeah.
We've got all sorts of people watching on our Facebook Live, on our YouTube. We've got, look at that, New York Yacht Club member, Senate Bischoff. Senate should be, probably should be in his law offices in Manhattan. I dread to think how much this is costing somebody on his hourly rate at his White Shoe law firm, but he's being very rude here. Andy, pretty sure you were using wooden spars when you sailed Optimists. I'll see you this weekend in the bar. We'll fight it out then. Senate, fantastic supporter of Optimist sailing all up Long Island Sound, putting on some regattas, and I think Corinthian, it's getting lighter out here. Corinthian Yacht Club on port jibe coming down towards the finish.
Yeah, they look like they're safely in front of the fleet here. Japan Sailing Federation kind of following on the same angle. We can probably off screen, but yeah, they're high angle here to the finish. Most of them probably have one more jibe, especially San Diego. And
it's gone
so
so light. Yeah. Look at it, so light. Alison, are you down on the water? Where's the breeze? Has it lightened up?
It has lightened up, and the crews are all to the leeward side. Everyone is. It looks like they're sleeping, but they're laying down just to keep their way to that side. Yeah, Japan is trying to keep a high angle with some current that is pushing them down. They really pushed it pretty far down here, and the edge of their kite is curling inward. So I think they're trying to sheet it in to pinch it up and lay the mark without having to douse their kite and do some backtracking. But it looks like there's going to be enough breeze right behind them. They've got a nice little personal puff here that's going to carry them across the line if all goes well. But anything can happen in this sport in the last 10 seconds of your race. So who knows?
Well, there you go. It looks like we're about to have a new race winner.
Yep, they're tightening.
Yeah.
Japan is sheeting hard. That is a tight angle that they're trying to hit here. And San Diego and Hong Kong are they're losing some wind in their sails. So let's see if Japan can squeak this out.
Does San Diego have a jibe to finish?
Very loud.
Or can they get across?
They definitely don't have enough wind to soak it down.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's got to be a really nicely coordinated jibe. Yep, here they go. It looks like I think they're going to soak it. A deep dive. This is a chaotic finish line once again, and very light breeze.
Yeah, breeze.
Here comes Japan. They are taking their first turn downwind as quickly as they can, and they are.
So they're going to get it?
Yeah.
So hard to tell.
Yeah.
Nice job. No, I think that's good from Japan Sailing Federation there, just squeezing around. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club take the win over San Diego Yacht Club. Third, Hoth. Fourth, Japan Sailing Federation. These are unconfirmed right now, but we'll give you the exactos as soon as we get them, and then we'll update the overall scoreboard. But generally speaking, I think that's pretty good for San Diego.
Yeah, New York Yacht Club trying to squeak around this pin as well. High, anxious angle moments. But holy smokes, a good one for Corinthian. Nicely done, Wade Waddell and Tim Wallow and Tactician. Will Bailey, Emily Gonzalez, Andrew Kingston, Sam Madden, Doug Sabin, Duncan Swain, and Juliana Testa. They get their win.
Oh, yeah, there was some pretty big shuffling around in that last leg because we got Corinthian Yacht Club, San Diego, Japan Sailing Federation, Hoth, Royal Hong Kong, who lost a couple, Eastern, Yacht Club Italiano, who gained a bunch, as did New York Yacht Club, Royal Irish Yacht Club, Royal Cork, who lost quite a few, then Itchner, and then Royal Thames, who probably lost, who lost a bunch of places on that last downwind, and San Diego Yacht Club. These are unconfirmed overall standings. We'll give you the exact online later. Laura will be posting those official results, but San Diego Yacht Club with a 7-1-1-1-2-8-7, and then a second in that final race today. Great result for them. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club have got right back into it as well. Excellent job from them. Again, we said they'd be ruining that 20th, wouldn't they? Oh, we don't want to bang on about it, but there we go. Royal Canadian Yacht Club and Royal Vancouver, both having not nearly such good final legs there, losing quite a few boats with a 17, a 14, Royal Thames getting a 12. So they had a 10-12 day today. Not their best. Corinthian did a nice job, 8-1. Tim Wadlow getting the bit between his teeth. They're tied with the Royal Swedish Yacht Club, and then New York Yacht Club, Eastern, Royal Cork, who matched the Royal Thames with a 12-10 today. Not their best day. Japan Sailing Federation, Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, well done to Hoth for their 4th in that final race. Royal Prince Alfred, the Yacht Club Punta del Este, Royal Irish, Yacht Club Italiano, Itchner, who are getting back into it. There seems to be a star next to their number 1. Anyway, the Itchner got an 11th. Yacht Club in Regatta is 13th. And Yacht Club Argentino in 20th. That is the full 20 boats, the runners and riders of today's racing. Well, I got to say, Dave, a big congratulations to the race committee for bringing the start time forwards and aligning that with the slack tide at about 11:05. It's going to be about midday, just after midday. Tomorrow will be the slack tide, and great racing, I guess, defending from San Diego.
Yeah, and the race committee, to their wisdom, right? Remember, they bought it outside on the first day because it was windy, and they're bringing it inside, which is the absolute pressure cooker of this event when it gets shoved in. And that's exactly, I saw what happened today, right? A couple new teams winning races. San Diego just being consistent enough to start patting on some points, and they're pretty happy going into Friday. Hopefully 2 more races, but definitely no more racing today. I think that's wraps.
Well done to Itchner for winning their first race in 10 years here at the 2025 Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational. Some much lighter airs, but we've seen a huge range of conditions over the last 3 days. And tomorrow we look forward to a little more breeze. Perhaps we'll get in the full 3 races tomorrow. Start time slated for 11 o'clock. Lovely to see you all watching and asking your questions here on YouTube and on Facebook Live. From Dave and I, we'll see you tomorrow.
This club is kind of the lighthouse of amateur sailing.
This event is the best sailing event I've done ever.
You know, this is the top Corinthian fleet in the world, and if you make mistakes, you're going to pay.
The Invitational Cup is special. It's a regatta that celebrates the Corinthian spirit. It celebrates amateur sailing at its finest.
The one design nature of the sails and the boats, it really sets a great stage for bringing it, narrowing it down to just the skill of the team versus the other team.
I would say this is the most prestigious event. Should be on your bucket list.